Appropriation Revenue Account Expenses Bill. I presume that we are ready to continue.
That's
The chair
right.
recognizes the honorable member for Central and South Eaglesboro.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I continue the debate to speak on the Department of Agriculture, I would like to speak on the Department of Agriculture in Grand Bahama, who has several ongoing initiatives, including the school hydroponic program, the chicken feed distribution, and agricultural land acquisition. The objective of the school hydroponic program is to empower young Bahamians to grow their own food while increasing their interest in the agricultural sector. This program corresponds with the government's focus on attracting our youth to the agriculture sector while investing in the modernization of agricultural technology and training. There are 9 high schools currently in the program, and each school has had the opportunity to produce fresh vegetables, leafy greens, and herbs in a hydroponic system. The success of this program will allow schools to receive revenue at local farmers markets with the funds directly benefiting each school's agricultural program. The hope is that this incentive will be expanded to schools throughout the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, now I turn to the Department of Marine Resources. In 2021, fishery products and resources landings increased by 15.8% by weight and 39% increase in the value of the products and resources landed in comparison to 2020. The export value of fishery products and resources exported from the Bahamas during 2021 was $97.4 million. The figure represents a 26.9% increase over 2020. Further, as you may be aware, lobster fishery is the single largest fishery in the Bahamas, and it accounted for 81.8% of the total landings in 2021 by weight and 93.7% of the total value of all fishery products landed. Madam Speaker, you may recall that the fishery sectors in both Abaco and Grand Bahama were devastated as a result of Hurricane Dorian in 2019. I'm happy to report in 2021, in case of both islands, Abaco and Grand Bahama, there was an increase in both total fishery products landings and the value of those landings. In the case of Abaco, total fishery product landings increased by some 14.6%, with a corresponding increase in the total value of the products of some 42.6% in comparison to 2020. In the case of Grand Bahama, total fishery products landings increased by some 48%, and some 72.8% in value of the products in comparison to 2020. Madam Speaker, in the government's Blueprint for Change, the document emphasized the development of the blue economy, highlighting the safe and sustainable development of industries around aquaculture, marine biotechnology, and deep sea exploration. For the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, the aquaculture sector is an area of high priority. With the assistance of FAO, a document entitled Aquaculture Resources and Potentials of the Bahamas has already been completed, highlighting the more than 20 species which have potential for farming in the Bahamas. It is our belief that a sustainable aquaculture sector will contribute significantly to the national goals of food and nutrition security, more employment, especially for a young and growing population, and secure decent rural livelihoods. In an effort to foster the development of the sector, the government is moving in earnest to establish an agriculture and fisheries development fund, which will provide grant funding and guaranteed loans to enterprising young Bahamians to get into this sector, as well as other areas of the fishing industry. Madam Speaker, as I mentioned previously, Cabinet has agreed to add boats and engine parts to the duty-free list, to support the fishing sector. This is indeed welcome news for all fishermen throughout the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, I am also happy to report in this honorable House that as of March of this year, fishermen can now apply online for fisheries services for compressor permits, renewal of their compressor permits, commercial fishing license, renewal of commercial fishing license, crawfish trapping permits, renewal of crawfish trapping permits, stone crab trapping permits, and renewal of stone crab trapping permits via the government's My Gateway portal. This achievement speaks to another commitment in our blueprint for change, where it speaks to modernizing the permit application to ensure a quick and seamless process for commercial and recreational fishing. So fishermen, especially in the Family Islands, are encouraged to make use of this new facility, which will save time, money, having to send their documents to New Providence as used in the mentioned services. These applications should be turned around in 48 hours, so it should be quick and painless. I remember when I was a fisherman, or even prior to this year, you had to go to the administrator office, you had to pay for your permit, email it in, wait for approval, let somebody pick it up sometimes. So it was a grueling process, sometimes taking a couple of weeks. Now,
Take too long.
48 hours, you should have your approval for all these permits. And we're adding,
Very good.
through my gateway. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Madam Speaker,
Move on.
as recently described in local media,
Keep it going.
reported in press briefings given by DEP and the ministry's
Thank you,
podcast that stony coral tissue loss disease is a concern for the Bahamas. This disease that is known to kill over 20 species of hard coral and can affect multiple sectors, including tourism and fishing, and with potential long-term impacts such as protection from storm surge. In response to the disease, the government of the Bahamas formed a task force to include the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, the Bahamas National Trust, the Bahamas Commercial Fisheries Alliance, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Perry Institute of Marine Science, the Ministry of Tourism, among others, and was headed by the DMR. The task force seems to strategically work together to mitigate the severe effects of the rapidly spreading disease. Madam Speaker, I now turn my attention to the work of the Department of Marine Resources. Madam Speaker, work on the draft fisheries regulations continue with the view that the final draft document will be placed before the NFSF National Fisheries Stakeholder Forum and the Fisheries Advisory Council before the end of the year for the final ratification before forwarding to me to be placed before Cabinet. These regulations would speak to things that's supposed to fall in line with the New Fisheries Act in regards to regulations on size, permitting, seasons, and things of that sort. We've already started to move around the Family Islands to get the input from Long Island, Spanish Wells, Eleuthera, as well as other Grand Bahama as well. Madam Speaker, a spiny lobster stock assessment was completed during September 2021. The stock assessment showed that the fishery is not overfished and that 5 million pounds is a sustainable export amount for the fishery. While enough lobster can be found to export 6 to 7 million pounds at times, I think this year we was just shy of 5 million at 4.8 million pounds. We must ensure that the stock is sustainable. Management efforts have resulted in the stock status steadily improving, and it's projected that the status will continue to improve if exports are constrained to the current harvest control rule of 5 million pounds, and if enforcement is effective. Madam Speaker, the Department of Marine Resources proposes to officially open a new office in Bimini in the fiscal year.
Bimini.
A part of the opening of the new office will be the commissioning of a 25-foot contender Marine Patrol craft. The purpose of the office and the commissioning of the Marine Patrol craft have to have an on-the-ground presence on an island, and that is considered to be the gateway to the Bahamas, eh?
Yes.
So boating is very popular in the island with
Fishing capital.
fishing. No. I didn't pick up on that originally. No. Maybe second. With experiences a very large volume of pleasure and sport fishing crafts from South Florida year round. The DMR will also commission another 25-foot contender Marine Patrol craft in Mangrove Key, Andros. And this Marine Patrol craft will be responsible for patrolling the waters adjacent to both Mangrove Key and South Andros. Madam Speaker, all of the Marine We clap for that. Madam Speaker, all of the Marine Patrol crafts equipped with GPS, VHF radios, strobe light sirens, twin 150 horsepower four-stroke Yamaha outboard engines, as well as a truck and trailer. Madam Speaker, we continue to partner with the Nature Conservancy to facilitate the Marine Action Partnership, or MAP. The MAP seeks to bring together all of the enforcement agencies of the country, inclusive of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Bahamas Customs, and Excise Department, the Department of Marine Resources, to foster a better working relationship and put in place a strategic roadmap to address matters related to illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. This is part of the government's commitment in our Blueprint for Change document to establish a Marine Wildlife Protection Division, which will be headed by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. Madam Speaker, the Food Safety and Technology Laboratory seeks to continue to support efforts to ensure food security by increasing capacity to verify and support the production and consumption of food that is safe, nutritious, and of good quality. Madam Speaker, in addition to fisheries management, we have recently tabled regulations to protect the seahorses. We have seen a high concentration of seahorses in Sweeting's Pond in Atchit Bay. Now, no pun intended. That was named before I reached. As they are becoming vulnerable to becoming endangered. So it's very important that we protect the seahorses, whether importation or in bodies of water such as Sweeting's Pond, which is a beautiful place to visit. And we're hoping that soon it'll be somewhere that persons worldwide will find as a national park for them to view and enjoy.
Very nice. Very nice. Sweet, it's freaking sweet.
Madam Speaker, to further support food security and to promote farming and fishing in this country, my ministry will inject an estimated of $1.3 million in grant programs to be facilitated by the SBDC. This funding will be used until exhausted and will be geared specifically toward the fishermen and farmers of this country to help develop both industries
Very good.
that will assist
Excellent.
in growing our agricultural and fishery sector. We understand that sometimes a hand up is easier than just facilitating a handout. So we must continue to find ways to support fishermen, to support farmers. And this government is progressive.
Very.
And we are finding ways that we can help to enhance
That's right.
this ministry, to enhance food security,
Minister of Agriculture.
because to touch one and to reach one is how we will develop this sector.
Yes. Good Minister of Agriculture. Good.
Madam Speaker, cooperative development is important to the development, advancement, and sustainability of agriculture and marine resources in this Bahamas. The Department of Cooperative Development continues to strengthen its operational capabilities, technical expertise, technology improvement, product development, and market penetration of producer service cooperatives and school cooperatives. Madam Speaker, in 2021, the department successfully registered 8 new adult co-ops. Presently, there are 24 registered and operational adult co-ops throughout the archipelago, being 2 in Abaco, 2 in Andros, 1 in Acklins, 1 in Cat Island, 1 in Exuma, 4 in Eleuthera, 5 in Grand Bahama, 1 in Mayaguana, and 7 in Nassau. Madam Speaker, the youth sector in New Providence and the Family Islands has been seriously affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is intended by the end of October 2022, we have functioning youth co-ops in most of the senior high schools throughout this country. Their existence is critical to the further development and undergirding of the country's economy and sustained agricultural production, feeding where we find ways to feed ourselves while also producing value-added products. Madam Speaker, June is celebrated annually as Cooperative Month, and this year's theme is Economic Empowerment Through Cooperatives. This year, we will bring together the financial cooperatives or credit unions and the producer-supplier sectors. We will commence with a joint church service in celebration of the origins of cooperatives in the Bahamas. And some activities planned are a distinguished lecture, a fun run walk with a display of cooperative products and open houses with membership drives. Cooperatives in each island are encouraged to unite to celebrate. Madam Speaker, I'd like to now turn to public markets. As noted previously, the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family and Affairs is responsible for the administration of public markets. These include Arawak Key or Fish Fry, Potters Key, Montague Ramp, and the market at Gladstone Road. In the months to come, we hope to have transferred to us the management of the Blue Hill Road Farmers Market in Golden Gates. The public markets are essential for the growth and the development of the Bahamas as they play a vital role in the economy. They make great contribution in the lives of our people, whether it is the sale of freshly caught fish or conch that can be purchased at the Montague Ramp and Potters Key, or dining at Potters Key or Arawak Key Fish Fry restaurants where you can enjoy the taste of your favorite Bahamian cuisine, or purchase fruits and vegetables from the market at Gladstone Road. Public markets serve to encourage entrepreneurship, create employment, and contribute towards our gross domestic product. With respect to Potters Key, you may recall that on April 11th, 2021, there was a fire in Potters Key and 6 stalls were destroyed. My ministry has been in meetings with the vendors to ensure that the funds donated and placed at FYP to assist with the rebuilding of these stalls are utilized by the affected vendors. I am pleased to advise that my ministry has contracted the service of an architect and the Ministry of Works and Utilities to design 3 stalls which can accommodate future expansion. Vendors will be able to select from the fully approved plans.
Nice.
Madam Speaker, the funds in the amount of $97,235.28, which were donated by a private donor and deposited to FYP Builders Mall or by the Ministry of Tourism, have been placed in accounts created for each affected, and once the approved plans are available, they can commence building. Each account has the amount of $16,205.88. Madam Speaker, it should be noted that all vendors in Potters Key are responsible for the construction of their stalls. Hence, the owners of the stalls affected by the fire will be required to reconstruct their stalls in accordance with the previous established policy. Madam Speaker, we intend to refurbish the bathrooms at Potters Key with up-to-date modernized equipment, and there will be automated toilets and bowls which are hands-free to support COVID-19 protocols. We believe that the lighting is insufficient at Potters Key, and we will address it by adding more street lights to the area. At the same time, ensure that the vendors have access to electricity, which would eliminate the use of generators.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Everyone need to start now.
We have recently appointed a manager of Potters Key who will monitor the area and support our initiatives to develop and modernize it. My ministry will continue with the auditing of stalls to ensure that there is proper administration at Potters Key. And through proper supervision, we want to ensure that lease rental fees are paid up to date. And this would offset some of the costs that we incur to provide the necessary government services at Potters Key. With respect to the fish fry, Madam Speaker, we have refurbished the restrooms, which was been useless for some time, with modernized, hands-free toilets and sinks.
Yes.
With the assistance of the Ministry of Works and Utilities and other government agencies and corporations, we also intend to provide speed bumps and additional lighting to the parking lot and surrounding areas. The Water and Sewage Corporation, through the Ministry of Works, will be asked to assist as it relates to water flow and grease drainage. We also intend to address the issue of subleasing and offer new leases to vendors, as we intend to address the backlog of lease rental fees as well. Madam Speaker, there are several things that we propose to do with the Montague Ramp. The initiatives here would take on a multi-governmental approach where other government agencies and corporations would be asked to assist. We also intend to restructure the seawall to address water surges that may occur from time to time. We would seek to move the conch shells on the seawall because we feel that it poses a health challenge if not addressed. The ministry intends to strengthen administration in that area by building an office to accommodate a ministry personnel specifically designated to manage and supervise that area. Matt, you clap and say that? Madam Speaker, we have expanded fruits and vegetables market known as the market at Gladstone Road, and vendors provide a variety of products for sale. While fruits and vegetables are the focus at this market, you can also find processed products, body products, ornamental products, and handicraft. In the ensuing months, we intend to restructure the market to enhance the public's experience and thereby boost the sales of vendors. Madam Speaker, in March of this year, the country welcomed the good news that so many persons were anticipating for more than 2 years. The news was the announcement made by the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, that regatta, festivals, and homecomings now had the green light to commence hosting these events again. Yes. Our first event was launched as part of the official itinerary for the visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in celebration of Her Majesty's Queen Elizabeth Platinum Jubilee celebrations at Fort Montague. Despite the inclement weather, sloops from the B-class series took to the waters for a fierce competition. Competing against each other, the Duke suited up with the crew on the new Susan Chase led by the veteran sailor Stephen Knowles, and the Duchess joined the team from the Ant's Nest 2, skippered by another veteran sailor, Lee Armbrister. After a little over an hour sailing, the new Susan Chase came across the line in first place, and the Ant's Nest with the Duchess made up the rear with fifth place finish. Now, he didn't take my advice. I told him to make sure the Duchess won. So I can only say. But Madam Speaker, this event was deemed the official start to the 2022 regatta season. Soon after, all roads led to Georgetown, Exuma, for a C&D Sailing Championship, which was a replacement for the annual National Family Island Regatta. Within the first week of the announcement made by the Prime Minister, it was almost impossible to book a flight, to rent a vehicle, or even find accommodation on the island of Exuma. Despite it being scaled down, no one would have known because the crowd was almost the same as previous years. And this speaks to what regattas, homecomings, and festivals do to the injection of life into the family islands.
Right.
So when we speak about regattas in Long Island this week, or Rake and Scrape in Cat Island, it's something that the people in these islands look forward to, because they're able to make money in ways they can't through other times of the year. So while it might seem like a big party to some, it means a whole lot to the people that's affected by it.
That's right.
So as the minister responsible for regattas as part of my portfolio, I could not resist the temptation, Madam Speaker, to join the crew on the Patent Pride. You know, I might be a novice sailor. I'm a veteran seaman.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So I might be a novice sailor, but I'm a veteran seaman. So I mastered the sea and could proudly stand before Parliament to boast of the fact, I think, that I'm the first minister responsible for sailing that actually participated in the National Regatta.
Yes.
And listen.
Did you win?
And we won. Listen, you should have been there with me, man. We could have won together. But, Madam Speaker, you know, and this speaks to the camaraderie of sailing, not just what happens on the shore, but what happens in the water at the regattas. So since March of this year, all the major islands would have hosted or making plans to host a regatta. I am pleased to announce that the budget for Family Island regattas in the Prime Minister's vision has been increased by $560,000. Another example of this Davis administration commitment to driving Family Island economies and investing in Bahamians.
Right.
Very soon, the ministry through the Regatta Desk will organize a pilot program, Learn to Sail. This program will afford persons an opportunity to get an E-class boat and learn the skills of sloop sailing. Madam Speaker, as our country prepares to celebrate the 50th anniversary of independence, my ministry will embark on an aggressive campaign to promote sailing as the national sport of the Bahamas. These initiatives speak to defining who we are as a people, culturally and socially. In February of this year, we officially released a book, Masters of the Seas, that captures and articulates the history of sailing and regattas in the Bahamas. We are partnering with the National Family Island Regatta Committee to produce a film documentary to catalog the growth and development of the National Family Island Regatta from its inception in 1954 to its contemporary in the new millennium. Madam Speaker, the junior sailing program is very active, and plans are being made to introduce this sport into the education curriculum. We intend to launch a pilot junior sailing program as an after-school sporting activity. Youth sailors will have an opportunity to develop skills by sailing the E-class, the Opti, Laser, and Sunfish boats for their training and competitive sailing. In February of this year, the Opti National was hosted by the Exuma Sailing Club in Georgetown, Exuma, and the event was very successful. More than 50 junior sailors from throughout the Bahamas was able to engage in active competitive sailing. The ministry was able to provide financial support to all the active junior sailing programs in New Providence and the Family Islands. During this coming budget period, the ministry has allotted additional funding to support the junior program, for we realize that in order for the sport of sailing to remain active, we must fully invest in the development of the young sailors through consistent teaching and mentorship. Additional funding is being allocated to our junior sailing program in Exuma because we realize that junior sailing on that island has the potential to revive the boat building industry in the Bahamas.
Very good.
Madam Speaker, the Department of Local Government is a relatively young agency, only have been in existence from 1996. It has had prime ministers and other noted ministers at its helm. The views, the ideas, and practices, through varying at times, had one common goal: a government nearest the people. From the Honorable Prime Minister reposed his confidence in me to have the department under my remit. It was one of excitement, as I too was a local council member. As many may be reminded that I am a fisherman and businessman, but my journey started at the local government level. I too was elected to sit where they now sit, endured what they endure, and if given the opportunity, I will look to fix some of these long outstanding problems. Madam Speaker, there are 33 Family Island districts, and there exist 512 local government practitioners who represent our local government communities with distinction. Madam Speaker, I wish to publicly thank the Honorable Minister of State for the public service and member for Golden Gates and their team for investing the time to meet with us at local government and the ministry to bring resolutions to long-standing staff issues of permanent and pensionable status and outstanding emoluments throughout the Bahamas. Long-standing. Further, Madam Speaker, an estimated $870,000 was spent on Christmas cleanup throughout the various Family Islands. Individuals were able to have a little bit more during the Yuletide season. And just using this partnership, for example, my colleagues in Grand Bahama were able to hire hundreds of persons to work on the road, and now it's became an initiative through the Ministry of Grand Bahama. More recently, with the reactivation of regattas, homecomings, and the like, the Department of Local Government played a significant role in ensuring the success of the Cat Island Fish-Off and the Exuma National Family Island Regatta with an already approved contribution to the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival. Madam Speaker, as others plan and organize, more will be done. You know, Madam Speaker, as I traveled to many swearing-in ceremonies for the local government practitioners throughout the Family Islands, one thing became extremely clear, that there are civil servants, like our Family Island administrators, and other civil servants who sacrifice so much for our beloved country, and they are the ones, along with the local residents, who rely on local government to work. By this, Madam Speaker, all those operational budget items that were removed from the administrative office budgets have been partially returned already and will be returned fully in this upcoming 2022-23 fiscal year. Madam Speaker, I have said that having a Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and a Family Island Affairs Minister as Family Island members of Parliament can only be a benefit to the Family Islands, as I stated earlier.
Yeah.
This is a good time to be in local government.
Yes. Very nice.
You see, Madam Speaker, the administration cares about the Family Islands and has dedicated, and I quote, 10% of overall revenue collection in the
Yes.
Family Islands from property tax and road traffic fees to the creation of a Family Island Development Trust Fund in the amount of $200 million.
Wow.
This fund will facilitate the government in making immediate and significant investment in Family Island infrastructure. This fund would be a sub-fund of the National Insurance Fund, and we also propose to leverage the aviation-related fund to create a fund for aviation infrastructure, which would be another sub-fund of the National Infrastructure Fund. This, combined with the Family Island Development Trust, will accelerate the reconstruction of Family Island airports. It will also end the practice of Family Island infrastructure improvements being made a lesser priority than infrastructure improvements in New Providence. It is important to note, however, Madam Speaker, that this does not mean that we will exclude Family Island projects from future capital budgets of the Ministry of Public Works. You see, it's far from it. It just means
right.
that Family Islands will have their own dedicated fund to ensure that they keep pace with national development.
Correct.
And I can say, upon the announcement from the Prime Minister last week, that I've already engaged local government councillors throughout the Family Islands for them to send in the main capital projects that would help develop their communities,
Yes.
help to further them along. And I can tell you, they were so excited. I received most of the local council suggestions in one day.
Wow.
In one day. So this is transformational, and this is something that speaks to us as a
Yeah,
government and as a party as we make progressive and bold moves to help include the Family Islands in our national development plan. You see, Madam Speaker, there is no way to paraphrase the words of the member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador, as every word is like manna from heaven for those residing in the Family Islands. I thought it necessary to insert this paragraph here as we speak about local government, simply because local government is the driving force in Family Islands for capital development projects and improvements in infrastructure. Combined with the ability to generate revenue for their various districts and the impending amendments to the Local Government Act, things will get done in the Family Islands. Madam Speaker, this is the way forward.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, our administrative residences and administrative offices need urgent care and attention. For far too long, we have built buildings and have not made the adequate provisions to maintain them. In many of the Family Islands, the administrative residences are unlivable. We will repair these residences and discontinue paying rental fees in some districts.
Yes. Correct.
Our strategy is to prioritize and to have a phased approach. Hence, $884,000 was approved for small capital works in the recurrent budget, and $900,000 was approved for major capital works in our capital budget at the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs. This speaks to how we can inform residents in Mayaguana, Andros, North and South, the Berry Islands, Mangrove Key, Grand Key, Axuma, its Keys, Cat Island, and indeed Eleuthera, that we heard them and we heard their cries. And you see, this is a good time to be in local government, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
In the next phase, the remaining administrative offices and residences would be done. We must thank our colleague minister and his team at the Ministry of Works and the member for Fort Charlotte who prepared our scope of works and monitor our stages of work and certify its completion. We are indeed grateful for the assistance.
Yes.
And Madam Speaker, if you notice in my contribution, I speak a lot about members that's assisted in different ways through constituencies, through my ministries, and it speaks to our collaborative effort.
That's right.
It seeks us as a team.
Team. Yes. Yes. Team.
You see, this side understands that no man is an island.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And we understand that together,
Yes.
together,
Together.
we can move this way forward.
Together.
Madam Speaker, there is the potential for appeals as mandated in our Local Government Act. And in order for an adequate response time, funding for travel to facilitate the same is also receiving adequate funding in the upcoming budget. Madam Speaker, after consultation with my technical team, the department now has a monitoring and procurement unit, a legal and protection unit, along with a help desk. Madam Speaker, this adds to the functionality and a strategic approach to enhancing local government. The help desk, Madam Speaker, is designed to be headquartered in New Providence with 5 new member staff. There will be sub-offices in the Northern Bahamas or in Grand Bahama, Central Bahamas, Eleuthera, and the Southern Bahamas, Inagua, with an additional 15 hires. Madam Speaker, what does help desk do? They help. All functions through our partnership with other ministries, like I just described, and departments will be done. It is aimed at removing the bureaucratic red tape that now exists within the Family Islands. Madam Speaker, for many years we have talked and talked and talked some more, never accomplishing much in regard to the needed amendments to the Local Government Act. Madam Speaker, finally, I have directed my acting director and his team to our proposed amendments for viewing in early 2023. Again, in a strategic approach, we hired 2 consultants. Madam Speaker, one is domiciled in Freeport and the other in New Providence. A local government amendment committee was established with 19 members from throughout the family of islands to meet, discuss, to consult, and advise on the necessary changes that we need to make in order for local governments to improve success. The member of this team comes across all political divides. They are former local government practitioners, they are chief counselors, committee members, females and males, long-serving, retired members of our administrators cadre, who all have 2 unique qualities. They know and understand local government. Madam Speaker, they will share their ideas, consult with our people, have open and frank discussions, advance trade-offs, and tailor local government into something that the world would wish to follow. Funding is again made available as this is a turning point of local government and its continued success. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Acting Director Campbell and his hardworking team at the Department of Local Government and the Family Island administrators and staff who represent the vision of my ministry daily.
Yes.
Also to the local government teams from across the nation that participated in the training seminar last week. The camaraderie, the sharing of ideas, and team building experience was unmatched. Practitioners, administrators, and policymakers sat in the same room and exchanged ideas and solved challenges. This is the way forward. I have said it before, and I will repeat it again. Madam Speaker, this is a good time to be in local government. Yes. Madam Speaker, I now turn our focus to the 3 approved authorities that fall under my ministry's purview: BAIC, BAMC, and BAFSA. Upon taking this post, it was quickly evident that many overlapping of responsibilities existed between the approved authorities. I saw quickly to remedy this to ensure that each of the authorities could fully focus on their respective portfolios. We have instituted a regular team meeting that allows us to tackle challenges and create solutions. Madam Speaker, building on the legacy of the predecessors, the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation undertook the challenge to implement an agenda modified to align the mandate of the Davis-Cooper administration. The following notable projects and initiatives were undertaken: the Authentically Bahamian Trade Fair, which was held in the Grand Ballroom Convention Center at Atlantis, Paradise Island, in December, in partnership with the Nassau Cruise Port Company and other stakeholders. Madam Speaker, as we move to incorporating modern technology in the agricultural sector, we partnered with IECA to host a drone demonstration during the month of March 2022. This demo was conducted with Dragonfly and Ballowings Aviation from Canada. The drones are touted as having useful agriculture applications such as aerial fertilization or irrigation, soil and crop inspection, as well as plant disease detection. Besides the foregoing, the drones were also said to be capable of delivery of goods up to a certain weight. Madam Speaker, in February 2022, BAIC commenced the digital mapping of its land portfolio in order to create a more transparent and robust accounting of its land holdings. With property holdings on 5 islands, BAIC intends to use these assets as a means to stimulate the country's economy by creating access to land at concessionary lease rates. As can be seen from the digital rendering of the Soldier Road Industrial Park, the park's boundary is highlighted in yellow, and all tenant lots boundaries are highlighted in black. You will note that a number of properties are available to be allocated to tenants. This information is partitioned to limit access to the relevant authority levels within BAIC. Madam Speaker, BAIC also held an inaugural event billed as Taste and Tell in April of 2022 at the Soldier Road Industrial Park. The event featured over 30 local processors from New Providence as well as the Family Islands. Patrons were treated to delightful blends of locally produced sauces, dressings, seasonings on fish and meat prepared by local chefs, all free of charge. And processors also had the opportunity to market their goods to represent buyers from major wholesalers, food stores, restaurants, and hotels. Madam Speaker, I am also pleased to advise that BAIC has secured and fulfilled several large orders to big customers such as Cisco and to the tens of thousands of dollars on occasion. This department also acquired a vehicle to facilitate the proactive customer calls to ensure a ready market for incoming shipments of produce from the various packing houses. Madam Speaker, as we carve the way forward, as the Prime Minister already announced, we will invest $300,000 into the refurbishment and the reorganization of the feed mill. The feed mill has the capacity to produce 5 tons of feed at a given time, and we produce currently 2 tons. The restructuring effort will lead to a greater productivity and output to ensure that farmers can be supplied with adequate amount of quality feed. This input can greatly catalyze the poultry, the livestock, and the small ruminant industries. We are steady and focused, Madam Speaker, paying keen attention to the further development of the agriculture industry and improving food security. Madam Speaker, small steps to lead the way forward. Madam Speaker, the need for food security in the Bahamas is urgent. And this is why we, as a government and as a ministry, considers food security as top priority. Madam Speaker, the purpose of BAMC is to advance agriculture and marine economies in the Bahamas through education, through human capital development, assistance to farmers in building their capacities, and its commercial farm, which would help diversify the Bahamas economy through creation of many jobs in agriculture and marine sectors. Madam Speaker, in October of 2021, my team and I toured BAMC North Angeles facilities to assess them. I have repeatedly lamented on the poor state that the facilities were left in by the former administration. Madam Speaker, the entire property was in disarray. The facilities are incomplete, parts that did not have electricity, 95% of the ladies' dormitory was unfinished,
Wow.
and the staff morale was at a low, and the list goes on.
Wow.
Madam Speaker, from day one, I, along with my team, began working to bring BAMC back to life.
Very good, very good, very good.
A mandate, Madam Speaker, was given by the Prime Minister, and thus far I can say that we are on the right track on getting it done. I'm excited to share that very recently, member for Fort Charlotte, the Cabinet has agreed to approve the completion of the
Chair
female.
recognizes the honorable member for Marco City.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. It is useful to note that there's a modification in the message of the member for Saudi Luthra. It was mentioned, Madam Speaker, that parts of Bamzi, in fact, the modification is that parts of Bamzi have electricity. Previously, none of Bamzi had electricity. I believe this is one of the sections that had electricity. Minister?
So what's your point of order?
I'm just asking you.
What's your point of order, though?
No, I just want to make the
What's your
point
point of order?
that in the conversation,
Madam Speaker, that's not a
in
point
the
of order.
conversation, Madam Speaker,
That's not a point of order. That's not a point of order.
No, I'm coming to the point of order, Madam Speaker.
We need that first.
May I have some help? May I have some help?
Come first.
Confirm.
Yeah, so there was an impression given about incomplete sections of Bamzi.
You trying to present for you.
So, Madam Speaker,
They are incomplete.
numerous parts of Bamzi.
The kitchen facilities.
So I just,
Honorable members,
is everything okay? Just relax. So, Madam Speaker, when we came to office, and this is something, and I think this is instructive for the new members of the House, particularly the minister, we didn't spend 4.5 years talking about Bamzi, where we had an audited report that revealed a number of things that we must now discuss in light of the fact that he raised this.
Table it.
And one of those things was the fact that the dormitories was incomplete in large measure because the entire country was aware of what happened with the dormitory. So you had a dormitory that burned down and was not replenished. You had an absence, Madam Speaker, of a site plan and buildings that were moved multiple times. So in excess of $60 million was spent. So if you want to talk about financial constraints that accounted, Madam Speaker, may I finish the point? Financial constraints that accounted for incomplete buildings. Let us go back to the $60+ million that was not spent.
Members.
I said point of order.
It's a point of order. The chair recognizes the
And
honorable.
they said all unkept. Look at the buildings. All
Marco
unkept.
City.
All of them unkept. Look at them. They were taken
Marco
when we
City.
went. Look at the buildings. Unkept.
The chair recognizes the
Unkept.
honorable member for Fort Charlotte.
Please.
Madam Speaker, the rules define a point of order. The honorable member did not even direct your ladyship to any provision. In other words, Madam Speaker, each of us are obligated not to interrupt a member unless it is in accordance with the rules.
Yes.
The honorable member will have more than an hour to give his point of view about BAMC or any other thing. But that is not a point of order. It is not a point of order.
There can't be two members. I have not recognized you, Marco City.
And
Marco City.
Madam Speaker, it is not a point of order, and I would, on behalf of my honorable colleague of Central and South Eleuthera, Madam Speaker, the House is governed
I have
by
three members.
rules, not how big the man is. The honorable member talking about how big the man is. That is the House.
Honorable member.
Please,
Honorable
man,
member.
sit down. I have the
Honorable
floor.
member. Marco City.
Yeah, but I'll have him speak accurately about.
No. But you. No.
How big the man
Have a seat.
is.
No, that would be your line. It's not mine. Don't try and attribute that to me. So don't try.
Fort Charlotte.
Madam Speaker, the only point I was making is that the honorable member is interrupting without any reference to the rules, and his conduct is contrary to the rules.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The chair recognizes the Honorable.
The point of order, Madam Speaker.
Hold on, sir. What is your point of order, Honorable Member?
Is that the member sought to mislead the House with respect to the electrification of Bamsey, and secondly, the state of all of the facilities. And so that is the point I rose. I wanted to bring pictures to show. I just want to make the point. I wanted to bring pictures, Madam Speaker, to show that when he talks about a state of disrepair, these are pictures not taken since this administration, the Davis Cooper administration came to power. Instead, they were taken during the time we were in. So if he wishes to be more accurate and precise, if there are sections that are unkept at the time he arrived, that's fine. But don't give the impression that all of the facility was unkept. It is disingenuous. The pictures are here. That is related. It is related.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
$60 million plus.
Thank you, Honorable
We believe
Member.
more than $80 million was
The
spent.
chair recognizes the Honorable Member for Port Charlotte.
Bamsey.
I'm speaking to the speaker.
Port Charlotte. Marco City? No, you don't need to help him. I can help him out. Calm down. Keep me calm.
But, Madam Speaker, on a point of order, I wish to move that what the honourable member stated, which is very unparliamentary, that what the honourable member for Central and
Allow the member to make his point.
Saudi Lutra said is disingenuous. It's an unparliamentary word.
Which is what?
It is offensive. That's what it is. Please. Yeah, you're not the speaker. I'm appealing, I'm making a submission to the speaker.
Yes.
Because you're interrupting me.
Yes. He is. He's interrupting us.
Madam Speaker, I wish to move that the word disingenuous in relation to the honourable member be stricken from the record.
Okay.
Please, don't be cute.
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing every time I speak in this place, right? The member for Marco City seems to interrupt me or seems to find issues with what I say. So, you know, I try to focus on principles, on policies. And, you know, if I wanted to stray, right, I could have said that in Grand Bahama, right?
Let him speak.
Allow the member to speak. He has the
Previous
floor.
minister,
Yes.
they
go
rushed the
ahead.
project.
Go ahead.
They spend money on a piece of land that we had not a lease for.
Wow.
So you spend 80 grand on a piece of property in Grand Bahama. You spent 1 million for a building with a piece of property that we didn't have a lease for. So how you spend money and you waste government funding on a piece of property that we don't have a lease for? You see, when I come to this place, I bring facts. I come to this place, I bring
Allow the
facts.
member to make his point, please. Allow the member to make his point.
So, no.
Allow him to make his point.
But you say you carried me down the road I didn't want to go.
No. That's his speech.
You carried me down the road I didn't want to go.
One member on the floor. Now, if I get up here, no, it ain't gonna be good, right?
So, let me continue. Madam Speaker.
The member is completing what he has to say.
Yeah.
Now, listen, there's a fight you pick, you know. You say he can't protect himself. So allow the member to protect himself.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then I coming back to you, Marco City.
down, sit
All
down.
right?
Marco City.
So take a seat right now.
So,
Sit down.
Madam Speaker, let me continue.
Continue, my friend.
As we speak to our country's, our government's way forward.
Way
As we speak to
forward, way
policies
forward.
and initiatives. Madam Speaker.
Central,
Yes, ma'am.
allow.
Okay.
Marco City.
Madam Speaker, the member raised the point that in Grand Bahama we spent, I believe you said, $80,000 on a piece of project, a project that we did not have approval for, a piece of land. A piece of land. That's what you said, right?
He said a lease.
On a lease.
A
Oh,
lease.
yes, that's fine. That's fine. So, of course, So, of course. So, Madam Speaker.
What's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, let me mention to put in context for those who are unaware. This particular administration is a part of a group that spent more than $35 million. Let me finish the point. No, wait, hold on. $35 million. Madam Speaker, may I finish the point? Oh, you're. I see y'all don't want to hear the rest of the point. You don't want to hear? Madam Speaker, can you protect me?
Members?
Can you protect me as I make my point?
I need you to protect me because you picked this fight.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I'm more than able to handle that. So, Madam Speaker, the property.
What is the point of order, member?
I'm now addressing the issue. Madam Speaker, there's an 8-acre parcel in Grand Bahama that we decided to put an agro village on. The same agro village building that we commissioned, one of the 2 Butler buildings mentioned by the member, one of which that he has discontinued and is now heading to Eleuthera. So, let me finish the point. So, again, the member has uprooted a building that we commenced construction.
Members.
Oh, no, you could split it. No, you asked for the explanation, you're gonna get it. So, Madam Speaker, on an 8-acre parcel, we decided to put an agro village, a partnership between the government of the Bahamas, the constituency office, the local government, and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We have, and I thought to bring, we have arrangements where we have permission to proceed on a parcel of land in order to build an agro village. 1+ million has not been spent. In fact, the member is going to use that money to build the building in Grand Bahama. The only thing on that property relative to the whatever it is, $1 million is a foundation and footer that was trenched that has been interrupted by the member. Secondly, that property, like many properties, we have not only no lease, we have a partnership with. Let me finish the point. Whenever you finish, we have numerous properties. Whenever you finish, we have numerous properties.
Member.
Madam Speaker, permit me to complete what I'm saying.
No.
We have numerous.
Permit me to speak.
Sorry?
Permit me to speak.
Okay, and I would be able to complete what I have to say.
The member for Central and South Eleuthera talk about a lease, right? You said there was no lease.
Say it again?
What are we debating?
No, that's not what I said. Let me finish what I said. That's not what I said. I said that the government of the Bahamas, inclusive of this administration, have made contributions to projects on lands that they have no lease. Right. That's the point I made. That's the point I made. So I'm saying.
They're discussing.
So, Madam Speaker, let me be clear. What he said is untrue. 1-something million has not been spent, and had it been spent, it would have been in order. Instead, he has taken the building, and the building is now moved to Eleuthera. So that is the point that I'm making.
Thank you, Honorable
That's
Member.
the point that I'm making. And all the documents and emails are right here.
Speaker, Marcus,
all of it is right here.
Marcos City, address me.
There was no lease. Thank you.
Members, there will not be 2 members on the floor. Marcos City.
Madam Speaker.
Ain't no lease.
Madam Speaker.
Ain't no lease.
Listen. Listen. This full speech spoke to policies, initiatives, and food security in this country.
Thank you.
I didn't want to bring this up today,
Thank you.
But the member pick a fight.
He took it there.
Member pick a fight. But I can continue with BAMC. I'm excited to share that very recently, the Cabinet has agreed to approve the completion of the female dormitory, which has been left incomplete since the PLP government demitted office in 2017.
No lease, no dorm.
To go further, Madam Speaker, approval was also granted to complete the cluster of classrooms on the BAMC campus. Madam Speaker, we are serious about food security.
Yes.
Strategically prioritizing the efforts to complete this institution to bring it on par with the international educational institutions. Madam Speaker, BAMC is assisting schools with materials to upkeep their greenhouses, and our academic affairs team, led by Senator Aricia Hepburn, has visited several schools in New Providence to share with students what BAMC is all about, and to encourage them to enroll in some of the classes that we offer, and to also collaborate with other universities. Madam Speaker, on May 12, 2022, BAMC hosted its graduation ceremony. It was indeed an honor to be a part of this great event and to present the graduates with their diploma. Our team has been working hard in getting the word out that it is indeed best at BAMC, and our efforts have proven to be fruitful as we have seen a great increase in enrollment of students at the Institute. Madam Speaker, in keeping with the government's mandate of food sustainability and increasing the awareness of the need for food security here in the Bahamas, BAMC is given tuition grants to help secure the Bahamas' future in agriculture. We are investing in Bahamians today to increase agriculture presence and production in the Bahamas tomorrow. Madam Speaker, we are deliberate in investing in the construction of 2 chicken houses at BAMC's property in North Andros. These chicken houses will be populated with layers and a hatchery to facilitate the farmers by providing young chicks to keep their stock level at its maximum. Madam Speaker, this hatchery is critical at this time because right now there is a global shortage in the supply of chicks from commercial farmers. This is truly a step in the right direction to food security and ties into our specific approach to driving the poultry industry in this country. These facilities would help train Bahamians and local farmers on how to set up and manage commercial-sized poultry farms. Madam Speaker, BAMC has re-entered into a partnership with a Bahamian firm that produces organic animal feed in Andros. A contract was signed with Organic Solar, a feed company that also grows microgreens. Madam Speaker, this partnership will allow Bahamians to access healthy, organic, locally grown produce and healthy livestock. This partnership is a prime example of BAMC, its initiative to empower Bahamian entrepreneurship and ownership. Madam Speaker, we must fight food security on all fronts. To this end, we have provided 10,000 seedlings to farmers across the Bahamas to partner with them to increase food production.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, BAMC is proud to announce that we will be opening an office in Long Island soon, and this office will assist the farmers in Long Island as well. Extension offices will be accessible and provide an outlet for plant distribution, training, and other agricultural support. Madam Speaker, BAMC is also focused on providing educational support and certification for fishermen. Born fishermen are required by law to have a certification in order to obtain a business license. However, this training was not readily accessible, and for years, bone fishing guides will not be able to get business license because they were not properly certified. To support this industry, BAMC is providing them with the opportunity to get certified in both theoretical and practical training in the upcoming months. Madam Speaker, this will not only benefit the guides, but it will be a plus as it relates to tourism.
Yes. Yes.
Madam Speaker, BAMC will be hosting its summer camp program in July in North Andros and for the first time in New Providence. This will give students in primary and secondary schools the opportunity to experience what BAMC has to offer. Madam Speaker, BAFSA serves as a regulatory authority responsible for the protection and economic maximization of the agricultural health and food safety system of the Bahamas. It has been calculated that with the proper investment in sanitary and phytosanitary measures, the Bahamas can access $175 million in trade benefits. BAFSA is dedicated to facilitating our agricultural industry accessing these trade benefits through the modernization of our agricultural health and food safety system. Madam Speaker, it is through the work of BAFSA that we have been able to resolve long-standing agricultural trade disputes with several of our trade partners by reforming our import system, allowing for trade to occur with regional and international jurisdictions safely. Madam Speaker, BAFSA has initiated a radical transformation of our permitting and inspection system that is expected to digitize the aforementioned process. Already, we have e-permitting for plant-based commodities, and we anticipate the onboarding of animal-based and food products to be completed by the end of 2022. The e-inspection system expected to be completed by the end of 2022. BAFSA has been involved in a project to address a long-standing problem of pesticides in the country and has begun the hard work of drafting a regime to regulate pesticide use in agriculture and elsewhere. The overuse or misuse of pesticides in agriculture poses a threat to animal, plant, and human health, and thus we must build an appropriate infrastructure to protect the public interests. Every country in CARICOM has a pesticide control board except the Bahamas. And this gap in our agricultural health and food safety infrastructure leaves our population vulnerable to persistent organic pollutants. As this has not been prioritized, we are pleased to address this once and for all in the next fiscal year. Madam Speaker, with the stark reality of the high risk of food insecurity in the Bahamas and throughout the region in wake of COVID-19 and the war, a pass list was created as a means of facilitating intra-regional trade to evaluate the risk posed by each pass, their hosts, the economic impact, and potential to impede or impact trade. BAFSA is in the process of assessing and revising all our border control measures to ensure compliance with international standards. BAFSA can now receive rapid and accurate plant health diagnostics through the free submission of digital samples to the University of Florida's Plant Pathology Lab through a MOU with the Caribbean Plant Health Directors Forum and Cabby's Lab in the UK. This has greatly strengthened our diagnostic capability in the absence of a national plant health diagnostic lab. Madam Speaker, BAFSA intends to establish an active surveillance program for fruit flies, red palm mite, and citrus canker, protecting our citrus and palm industry from pests. Madam Speaker, June 7th marks the 4th year since World Food Day, Safety Day celebrations commenced. This year, the Food Safety and Quality Unit have planned a series of events to celebrate this day to promote an increased awareness of food safety and educate the public on its importance and connection to food security, good health, including healthy communities and economies. The Food Safety and Quality Unit has drafted 13 additional import conditions for medium to high-risk foods besides honey and coconut water. These import conditions will ensure that food imports are protected and meet the guidelines and requirements necessary to ensure food safety and wholesomeness. Madam Speaker, in terms of public relations, communications, and marketing, the PR department has strategically sought to tell a story of my ministry. The team is led by Ms. Candia Smith, who has created a segment called Good to Grow that airs twice a week on Bahamas Tonight on ZNS. This segment focuses on showcasing what Bahamians are doing to enhance food security in the Bahamas, as well as the news coming out of the ministry. Additionally, the team has created a Good to Grow podcast on social media, which interviews top officials and others who are in agriculture, marine resources, and other areas in my portfolio. The team has already begun shooting another show called Food for Thought, where we will not only teach Bahamians what crops are most successful, but also what delicious food items can be made with them. We have made use of the hashtag Here We Grow to help the public recognize what we are looking to achieve throughout the entire ministry, which is growth. We have increased our social media presence and followers, where we are able to market to young persons interested in farming and marine resources. Based on marketing research, the ministry can be found, and my PR team wants to make sure I announce this, can be found on social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. With many of our documents now found on my gateway, we are seeking to launch our own website where documents and announcements can be easily accessible. We are also ensuring that we communicate regularly with the media so that they are well aware of the work my ministry is doing. Moreover, we are working along with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture to create an app to supplement our efforts with our agribusiness department. In the near future, my ministry will launch various campaigns that will include public service announcements seeking to educate young people about the benefits of a career in agriculture in our country. So a lot of opportunities and incentives that has been within the ministry for many years, and people just don't know. So it's important that the PR department tells the story of what the ministry can offer, what the departments offer, so that they can have access to these opportunities. I am very proud of our young, dynamic team in my ministry, and I continue to tell them. Madam Speaker, this budget serves as a roadmap to a future filled with opportunities for Bahamians. Every entity under my ministry is committed to helping to raise the standards of living and to create a prosperous future for our children. The pandemic did not beat us. It instead displayed the creativity, the courage, and the resilience of the Bahamian people. The investments we make today will be the pathway for a better tomorrow. Together, there are no limits to what we can achieve. We will obtain food security in this Bahamas. It is this government's highest priority. Our aspirations are not far-fetched. They are realistic and sustainable. This is a way forward for the Bahamian people to make our nation more resilient than ever. Madam Speaker, as a member of Parliament for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador indicated in his vibrant budget communication, food security is a fundamental need of our nation because it not only reduces poverty, but it aids in employment creation and secures economic empowerment for our citizens. It is a long-term venture that requires much investment. Countries throughout the world are placing a high significance in its agricultural sector. Across CARICOM, everybody is interested in agriculture. We must, as a government, as policymakers, we must create the avenues to grow our own products that provide health benefits, reduce our import budget, while engaging and empowering the youth and the women of this country. Additionally, Madam Speaker, we family islanders applaud the vision of the Prime Minister and the member of Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador. For this is a transformative, inclusive, and progressive budget. It is my esteemed pleasure, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the family islanders of this country, on behalf of the fishermen, on behalf of the farmers, on behalf of the hardworking people that spend hours a day to create something for their families, to second the budget that pushes our country our way forward. Thank you. I almost forgot. This watermelon, I don't want to break it. So this watermelon is from Elutra, from MP Farms, and we will cut it up and have it served inside for all parliamentarians.
Opposition too? The
Opposition.
opposition gets up?
Yeah, man.
Opposition say he wants to watermelon.
Why?
Oh, wow.
Listen, man, you know.
He catch feelings.
He catch feelings.
Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. It has been moved and seconded that the following bill be read a second time and committed.
Thank you.
Appropriation Revenue Account Expenses 2223 Bill 2022. As many are in favor will remain seated. Those opposed, as many. The chair recognizes the member for East Grand.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is an honor to provide my contribution to the budget debate of 2022-2023. Madam Speaker, this will be my 15th, I believe, consecutive budget presentation while sitting in either the House of Assembly or the Senate. Public service is a privilege, and having the opportunity to represent people in this honorable chamber is also a privilege that I am eternally grateful for. Madam Speaker, God has been good to me. This will be my first full budget presentation representing the people of East Grand Bahama. These people have simply been amazing. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. This will be my first full-on budget presentation representing the people of East Grand Bahama. These people have simply been amazing, many of them walking miracles. Take Zelma and Preston Tate in Sweden Ski, who every Sunday serve their community in their Anglican church, and who ensured that the church was repaired even before their house was repaired. Take Patterson Ballou, who lost his house in the storm, but he ensured that the church that he was pastor of was repaired. Patterson, by the way, wakes up every Sunday, drives from High Rock to McLeanstown, takes a boat from McLeanstown to Sweden Ski to pastor the persons in Sweden Ski. We all know bishops in High Rock. I think anybody who has visited East Grand Bahama would have visited bishops in High Rock. Owned by Reuben Roberts in High Rock. Was completely devastated, wiped out by the storm. In fact, if you had gone after the storm, you wouldn't have even seen the remnants of the small hotel and restaurant that was there. But he has fought, has struggled, and was successful in building back his business. And he's built it back even better. There is a scripture that comes to mind when I think about the people of East Grand Bahama. And it is 2 Corinthians 4, 8-12. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. The people of East Grand Bahama are an inspiration to the entire Bahamas. I also want just to send out a notice to the people in East Grand Bahama and the people in Grand Bahama in general to pay attention to the weather. We got notice, I believe, yesterday and today from the Met Office that a system is possibly traveling in our area. And so we are telling residents to pay attention to the weather and to make all necessary preparations. This is the first day of the hurricane season, and we could see that it is already being an active season. Mr. Deputy, the PLP's first budget falls woefully short. It misses the mark and fails to take advantage of valuable opportunities left by the Free National Movement administration. Budgets should be evidence of how fiscally responsible a government is. This budget shows how fiscally irresponsible this government is. Let's take a deeper look into this all-important first PLP budget.
Let's look.
Budgets are simple. They set out how much you expect to bring in, how much you expect to spend. The problem is, in the Bahamas, we usually spend more than we take in. Mr. Deputy, the fiscal strategy report, this document right here. The fiscal strategy report is not just a guide, but it has the force of law in the fiscal targets and objectives. The PLP budget has a material and significant difference from the fiscal strategy report. This is their budget. This is their fiscal strategy report. They are different. They are completely different. How can we believe what you say? You presented a fiscal strategy report, and in your first year, you are unable or unwilling to abide by it. The PLP met as a cabinet. They considered the fiscal strategy report. They approved the report. They set clear fiscal.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Grand Bahama and Bimini.
Mr. Deputy, these Grand Bahama side opposite and colleagues, there's a technical difficulty being experienced by the House now and the broadcast. No, that is what's being told us. They're asking for 15 minutes
Can you
to
stop
reboot.
the time, please?
They're asking 15 minutes to reboot. So, Mr. Deputy, I asked for...
The time still ain't stopping.
Yes, sir. Is there a second, though? It's been moved and seconded that the House to take a break for 15 minutes due to technical difficulties.
You're not on there. You're not on there. You're not on there.
Honorable member, when the business of the House was suspended, the honorable member for East Grand Bahama was on the floor. Honorable member, are you requesting your time from the beginning?
Yes, Mr. Deputy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Deputy, the PLP's first budget falls woefully short. It misses the mark and fails to take advantage of valuable opportunities left by the Free National Movement administration. Budgets should be evidence of how fiscally responsible a government is. This budget shows how fiscally irresponsible this government is. Let's take a look at the all-important first PLP budget. Budgets are simple. They set out how much you expect to bring in, how much you expect to spend. The problem in the Bahamas is that we usually spend more than we take in.
That's right.
Mr. Deputy, the fiscal strategy report, this document right here, is not just a guide, but it has the force of law in the fiscal targets and objectives. The PLP budget has a material and significant difference from the fiscal strategy report. These two documents are supposed to be, the law requires that these two documents be consistent, in line with each other. How can we believe what you say? You presented a fiscal strategy report in the first year. You are unable or unwilling to abide by it. The PLP met as a cabinet. They considered the fiscal strategy report. They approved the report and set clear fiscal targets as required by the law. Consistent with those targets, they told Parliament that they would spend no more than $2.6 billion in this budget. That's what they told the people, and that's what they told Parliament. And that they would keep the deficit to no more than $415 million. That is what they agreed. That is what they approved in cabinet. That is what they told Parliament. That is what they told the public. That is what they told the rating agencies. They are clearly unable or unwilling to meet their own spending and deficit targets. As you ignore, and they are ignoring their own fiscal objectives without any reasonable cause in law. In your fiscal strategy report, you told Parliament that in this budget, you would not raise compensation to employees. Really? You told Parliament that? You told the people that? You told Parliament that you would begin to reduce salaries and wages allocations as part of an expenditure containment strategy.
What was that stated?
That's what they told.
And this, the report? The report?
That's what they told the people. That's what they told Parliament.
Not the report, though.
That's what they told the rating agencies.
And now what?
You have ignored this, and contrary to your own report, have decided to raise compensation to employees by $56 million. Mr. Deputy, the IMF proposes a different view than the government. They believe the government should implement credible tax reforms to achieve revenue targets. They also believe the government must cut spending. This was what you told the public, and this is what you told the IMF. This is the height of being fiscally irresponsible. Mr. Deputy, campaigning is over. The honeymoon period is over. We need to get down to serious business of tackling the serious problems you campaigned on. At a time when we are coming out of the pandemic, you have inherited a recovering economy and increasing revenue. Now is the time to tackle the real problems that our country faces.
Real work.
If you cannot tackle these problems now, when the wind is at your back, no one in their right mind will believe that you will make the hard decisions later. You told Parliament that this year you would begin to find the $100 million in savings from the state-owned enterprises. I didn't say it. They said it. They told Parliament. They approved the fiscal strategy report. They told the rating agencies that this year they would begin to find the savings for the state-owned enterprises. What is the government's plan to fulfill the commitment you made to the Bahamian public and the commitment that you made to Parliament? In fact, what you have done is increase the allocations to state-owned enterprises. Clearly, your commitment to begin your reform for state-owned enterprises was only hot air. At page 44 of your budget, you have increased the allocation for public non-financial corporations by $20 million. This is fiscally irresponsible. The government, Mr. Deputy, is not spending as though we are still in a financial crisis. Why would the government increase the travel and subsistence allocation by $4 million? Increase, mind you, increase. We are not talking about maintaining or making use of the existing spending. We are talking about increasing it. We already spent $10 million. It has been allocated, $10 million was already allocated for travel and subsistence. But they have decided to increase the allocation by $4 million. Mr. Deputy, couldn't that $4 million be better spent on initiatives at home? This again is fiscally irresponsible. This government has made a significant divergence from the fiscal strategy report of 2021. Their fiscal strategy, the deficit target that they said in their fiscal strategy was $415 million. They have now said we will increase that deficit to $564 million. They told Parliament the fiscal deficit would be 3% of GDP. It has now been exceeded to 4% of GDP. That increase of $148.8 million represents 36% increase over their target. That they told Parliament and that they told the Bahamian people. This is wholly against the letter and the spirit of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. See, many don't know what's in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Fiscal Responsibility Act was established to ensure that all governments lay out their fiscal plans and their fiscal targets and only diverge from those targets under exceptional negative circumstances, such as disasters, natural disasters, or severe economic shocks. This is what was in and what is in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. That's why they call it Fiscal Responsibility Act. Governments set targets for themselves. No one sets them for them. The government set their own target. So Cabinet decided what their target would be.
This government.
Cabinet decided in December what their targets would be to ensure that the country remains on a stable and an economic fiscal footing. It is called fiscal planning. and that we manage our debt responsibly. So the former F&M government took the political hit and absorbed the political pain to increase taxes and implement new revenue measures so that the government could meet those obligations under the Fiscal Responsibility Act and stay on target, and still fulfilling its mandate on matters such as free tertiary education, improved family island infrastructure, and a substantial amount of spending on small businesses, just to name a few. Mr. Deputy, this is what is in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The second schedule of the Act says that governments must set out in their report, in their fiscal responsibility report, this is what the law says, that they must set out in this report a table of fiscal objectives to measure the fiscal position of the government against the fiscal responsibility principles consistent with the first schedule for, and here's the point, for the forthcoming year and each next 3 years, which shall be at a minimum include the fiscal objectives for the fiscal balance, the debt guarantees, expenditure growth rate, wage expenditure limit. The law says that they must include in this report their targets for the upcoming year and for the next 3 years.
In that report?
And they did that. Wow. Cabinet met, Cabinet discussed it, Cabinet agreed, approved the targets for the upcoming year. But they have not met the targets in this budget. Wow. They simply ignored the law. Madam Speaker, the law says in Section 10(6) of the Fiscal Responsibility Act that each financial year, the minister shall, this is what is in the act.
Stay focused.
The minister shall prepare and implement
This and that.
the annual budget,
Compare and contrast.
which is what we're doing now. They must prepare and implement the annual budget of the government in accordance with the Act and the fiscal objectives in the fiscal strategy report. Wow. The law says you must use the budget as an exercise, and that budget must be consistent with what you put in your fiscal strategy report. In addition, under Section 17(2) of the Public Financial Management Act, it states that the government must ensure that the annual budget, this is what the law says, this is what they agreed to, this is what they all voted for.
Explain the law now.
The government shall ensure that the annual budget is consistent with the Fiscal Responsibility Act and the Fiscal Strategy Report.
Not consistent?
2 places in the law it says that.
Inconsistent?
So if you didn't get it in the Fiscal Strategy, in the Fiscal Responsibility Act, then you get it in the Public Financial Management Act. Right. They repeated it twice so we wouldn't forget it.
There ain't no place? It ain't there?
By their account and by the information they provided, the revenue is performing. The economy is doing better than expected, thanks to the highly effective policies left in place by the FN.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So with the economy,
Yes, sir.
doing better than expected, and with revenues.
Members. Order, members. Thank you. Say it again.
So with the economy doing better than expected, and with revenues doing better than expected. We should have seen a budget where the target deficit in the budget is lower than what is in the fiscal strategy report. Think about it, Mr. Deputy. We are doing better. The economy is, to their accounts, recovering. So why are we increasing the fiscal deficit? We should actually be decreasing the fiscal deficit. This is the height of being fiscally irresponsible. Instead, contrary to the requirements of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, the government is coming in at a higher deficit number. This administration is not taking the fiscal responsibility seriously. If the government chooses to ignore the Fiscal Responsibility Act, the same act they supported and quoted often while in opposition, it wholly undermines their credibility, and of course, it puts our credit ratings in jeopardy for no good reason. And when our credit rating falls, our borrowing costs go up, and Bahamian taxpayers everywhere pay the price for their fiscal irresponsibility. On the revenue side, here is the worrisome part about it. You allocated to overspend what your target was. And we do not believe your revenue projections. I believe that they are sheer fallacy. Show us the data that forms the basis for your revenue projections. Tell us how you will collect the $1.4 billion in VAT, which is $500 million more than without putting in place significant new tax measures. Even Moody's says, Moody's, who looked at the budget and the budget communication about a day or so after it was presented, says the Bahamas government's fiscal consolidation projections have multiple risks due to the absence of real tax reform. They said your numbers are risky. Moody's also says the revenue projections are, and I quote, overly optimistic. I decided to look this term up, to look at the definition of over optimistic.
To be sure.
Their definition, unjustifiable or unrealistic, foolishly optimistic or delusional. Moody says key risk to the budget is overly optimistic revenue collection projections in the absence of concrete measures to broaden the tax base and the inability to manage spending in line with your targets.
Break it down.
Let's take a look at the social spending. The Prime Minister in his communication very skillfully said that they made a permanent increase in social assistance by 50% in comparison to pre-pandemic levels. We believe it is a mistake to compare the conditions pre-pandemic to what we continue to face today. While the worst of the pandemic is over, the lingering economic effects and the dislocations of tens of thousands of Bahamians have not ended. We still have a massive post-pandemic social need as unemployment and underemployment remain elevated. And while these struggling families are being hammered by the spike in inflation, just look at the social service budget. We spent $80 million in the first 9 months of this fiscal year. And there is still a significant need. I believe we ought to have at least maintained the amount allocated for social service assistance. What sense does it make to increase travel and decrease the amount allocated for social assistance? You cannot tell me that every single person in the Bahamas that needs help is getting the help that they need. And if you cannot tell me that, we should continue to keep the allocations the same for social assistance. To do otherwise is fiscally irresponsible. You must explain why you have decided to cut the allocated amount. Why also cut the amount allocated for uniform allowance by $1 million? Does that mean that we no longer have a need in our country for uniform assistance? Let's look at small business allocation. Mr. Deputy, I cannot emphasize how important small businesses are to our economy and our country. We emphasized this and took real steps to buffer small businesses from the effects of COVID and the effects of Dorian. I do not see the $50 million allocated in the budget for small businesses, even when you add up the SPDC, the Development Bank, BAIC, the Venture Capital Fund. It does not amount to $50 million. Can the government explain why, out of the $25 million allocated in their supplementary budget, they allocated $25 million for small business assistance? Why is it that they only spent $5 million to help businesses? You allocated the money, but didn't spend it. See for yourself. There is a huge difference from the way the F&M spent $42 million the year before for small businesses through the same Small Business Development Center that this government is using. How does the reduction from $25 million to $8 million help to uplift small business development? Mr. Deputy, it is in their budget. And I invite persons to just have a look at the capital side of the Ministry of Finance budget. Page 206. I was amazed that there's an allocation during their supplemental budget for $25 million, but they decreased it to $8 million. And then you look under the Economic Affairs budget. There was an allocation for $4.5 million, and they reduced it to $2 million. So where is the action behind the commitment? Where is the money behind the commitment? It appears that every PLP budget you cut money allocated to small businesses. You have even cut the allocation for the development of Junkanoo, which was allocated to jumpstart businesses and entrepreneurship from Junkanoo groups. You are only paying lip service to small businesses at a time when, without providing real relief at a time when they need it the most. Inflation is a real crisis, Mr. Deputy. We heard just yesterday from our very own central bank, or day before yesterday, that the counter-inflation measures by the U.S. Federal Reserve could slow down the momentum gained this year. That's what our central bank says. Yet we go right on spending. We go right on missing our targets. Fuel prices are skyrocketing, yet we have heard nothing in the budget communication to address something that hits every Bahamian. But the government gets to travel more. I heard a joke, Mr. Deputy. I heard a joke the other day that one time ago, $5 gas, when you put $5 in your gas tank, it could take you somewhere. You could get from the gas station to someplace with $5 gas. Now, $5 gas could only take you from pump 1 to pump 2.
That's wrong. That's true. That's it. That's it.
There are fears of a recession in the U.S. They had a first quarter of this year with negative growth, the U.S. The IMF says they don't know when inflation will come down. We also heard nothing in the budget communication about the Prime Minister's announcement in April about the 38% discount on containers coming into the country. How can Bahamians benefit from this arrangement? Who do we go to be able to take advantage of this arrangement? We all see the duty reductions. However, I am not sure how caviar and salmon made the list. But apparently caviar and salmon made the list. But the produce reduction, and when I say produce reduction, I'm talking about the lettuce and the carrots and all of those produce that were reduced. How does that square with the local farmers who are competing for the same market? What incentives are we, and mind you, I don't have a difficulty in principle with reducing the duty. But what I do have a difficulty with is ensuring that we put in place incentives to protect the local farmers and the local farming market. So what are the incentives that are being put in place that is going to protect Bahamians and the Bahamian local market? The government remains, unfortunately, and I'm not sure if this is a parliamentary term, but they are very focused on not removing VAT off breadbasket items. They firm in that. No matter how much people come at them, they are firm in we are not taking VAT off breadbasket items. Look at what a major food store says. The budget cuts cannot compensate fully for the 20% increase in food prices. So they only could be about half in terms of what the increase in food prices would be. Well, having this information, wouldn't it then make sense for us to decrease the duty and take VAT off of it? Then that would then make to be able to deal with the whole 20% in terms of food increases. But they are firm in that. They are not going to take VAT off of breadbasket. Well, tell me, what is the justification for not taking VAT off medication? There has been no duty reduction taken off medication. For thousands of Bahamians, they are still paying more for medication. What is the government's plan to reduce the price of medication and to reduce the price of gas? The opposition is also concerned by amendments, and this was addressed by the Prime Minister this morning. The opposition is also concerned by amendments to the Business License Act that seeks, among other things, to eliminate the exemption of taxes on export revenue. Well, this part wasn't addressed by the Prime Minister. That sought to stimulate the local entrepreneurs to seek broader foreign markets in an effort to offset the contracting domestic market. In other words, you didn't pay business license, Thank you, Madam Speaker. In other words, you didn't pay business license if you were in a business that exported goods. Again, the principle behind that was to incentivize persons who were in the export business to seek outside markets. But this government has decided that they are going to now put business license on those companies that export goods. The second major amendment that concerns us is the reversal of the financial services fee structure that was implemented in 2018 to address the international community's concern that previous flat fee structures effectively gave offshore institutions a tax advantage, considered or also called ring fencing. Ring fencing refers to the institutions that are in the same industry, performing basically the same services, but are taxed differently solely because one provides service exclusively to foreign nationals and the other provides services to the local community at a higher tax rate. So basically the problem was you had a bank, one bank, and both banks are located in the Bahamas, but one bank services Bahamians, the other bank services all non-Bahamians, all persons outside of the country. It created an issue to tax them differently. The previous government worked hard on this issue in consultation with the Central Bank, the Bahamas Insurance Commission, the Bahamas Securities Commission, the Bahamas Financial Services Board, the Association of International Bank and Trusts, and other interested stakeholders. As a result of that intense and close consultation, the new fee structure was developed, and it was accepted by all parties and presented to the OECD's Code of Conduct Group on tax matters. The Bahamas was eventually removed from the EU's blacklist as a result. They had a problem. The previous government got together with all industry stakeholders, came up with a agreed position. They put that agreed position to the OECD's tax compliance group. They accepted it. We were taken off the blacklist. The Bahamas was eventually removed from the EU's blacklist as a result, which appears to now be in jeopardy if this change goes through. Unless there is a new agreement that the government has not yet disclosed, this will represent a reversal and a possible breach of agreements made, and could shake the foundation of our credibility as a trusted partner. I would suggest that the government also have a consult with those same industry partners if they have not yet already done so. In particular, the Financial Services Board, to consult with the Financial Services Board. Madam Speaker, what about job creation, wealth creation, youth employment, apprenticeship training? We all sat on our seats waiting to hear how the government was going to execute these things in the budget communication. Where is the ease of doing business initiatives? What was also lacking from the budget communication was any specifics on job creations, or more importantly, wealth creation for Bahamians. We are spending $56 million 56 million more we are spending on public servants. And God bless our public servants. We're spending 56 more on them. But how much are we spending to create employment for young people in the private sector? How much are we spending to create employment in the Family Islands and in Grand Bahama? Yes, we may see the projects ramp up in about a year or two, but we need jobs now. Those young people need jobs now. They need jobs today. And there was a WhatsApp, Madam Speaker, that was going around, and I have to ask the government about this, and I hope it is not true, that Carnival was given approval to bring in, not true. Okay, very well, not true. I won't even mention it if the minister says it's not true. No, she says it's not true. I'm sure she's heard it, so I won't mention it if it's not true. Our budget gave specific incentives for business, duty-free first stock inventory. Our budget gave tax-free zones in the Southern Islands, duty and VAT-free concessions on construction materials in the Family Islands, tax breaks on business license fees and real property taxes in the Family Islands. What will happen to these concessions now? Will they be canceled? By the way, has the government canceled the VAT-free holidays for hurricane preparedness? We heard nothing, not a peep, about continuing the VAT-free holiday for hurricane preparedness, and today is the beginning of hurricane season. We have also not heard anything about the VAT-free holiday for back to school. Is the government going to continue with this initiative? They should. But we have not heard a peep about what is going to happen with respect to the VAT-free holidays, and I hope that it will continue, the VAT-free holidays for hurricane season. And I repeat, hurricane season starts today, and we have not yet heard anything about the VAT-free holiday for hurricane preparedness. Even the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce has, after seeing the budget communication and their estimates, quite rightly asked what's in it for the business community. The PLP again has failed to address the ease of doing business. We created a provisional business license to allow people to get into business in days. We created the provisional business license. How have you improved upon this provisional business license? Businesses need continued work on the ease of doing business. Madam Speaker, doing business in the Bahamas is not the easiest place to do business. And that goes beyond governments. But we have not heard anything in the Prime Minister's communication or in the Prime Minister's speech today about how ease of doing business is going to be improved. So while we travel all over the world, Bahamians struggle to open up a business. We heard nothing in the communication about improving the ease of doing business. We heard nothing about the plan to rescue NIB. While the economy is improving, the revenue is up. Now is the time to tackle the NIB matter. Ask yourself, if they can't or won't tackle it now, when things are good, what makes you believe that they will do it closer and closer to an election? The minister is quoted saying, and he was very specific, the Minister of State responsible for NIB, he was very specific. He said this to the public, that he expects NIB contributions to increase by 1.5 to 2% in the next year. That's what he told the public. That's what's reported. The minister quite rightly said, we are in an unsustainable position. The minister gave this warning, and I quote, the 11th actuarial report basically said, unless urgent steps are taken, the fund will be depleted by 2028. Wow. Having heard this, the Prime Minister dismissed that assertion that things will rise. If there is no rise in NIB contributions, then what is the plan? Tell us. If there's no rise, wonderful. But tell us what the plan is to fix NIB. If not now, then when will the government act to save NIB? They also refuse to be transparent. Madam Speaker, we will oppose any change to the Public Financial Management Act that waters down the effect. To make matters worse, instead of strengthening the Public Financial Management Act, they foreshadowed making the act more flexible.
What does that mean?
If you have additional revenue, you should come back to Parliament and explain to Parliament how you will spend that additional revenue. You should account to Parliament how that money will be spent. We will oppose any watering down of this important controls to prevent uncontrolled spending. The present government has been hard on the previous government, and where there are breaches, they ought to be corrected. They've been hard on us. But this government must be held to the same standard to which they hold the previous government to. They called us out on not following procedures, yet they continue to breach the law and not disclose the third quarterly reports, which should have been out from the end of April. They called us out loudly on not disclosing the beneficial owners of contracts on COVID, on the COVID spending. Yet, they flat out refuse to follow the law and disclose the contracts in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. Here is another concern, Madam Speaker. The Association for Bahamas Mariners have already expressed their strong concern with the tax on yachting industry. They say the legislation is devastating for the yachting industry in the Bahamas. The tax on chartering a yacht in the Bahamas has risen by 350%, from 4% to 14%. It employs thousands of Bahamians in marinas and other businesses that cater to these yachts. Will we lose this important industry to those destinations in the Caribbean, where there is a zero tax on these yacht rentals? They are begging the government. The mariners are begging the government. The association is begging the government to take another look at this, especially those representing the Family Island communities, to please reassess the 350% tax increase. They say that their lives and their livelihoods are depending on it. Finally,
Come on, stay focused, stay focused. Stay focused.
I have
Come on, stay on point.
some very important questions
Come on, ask the questions. Ask the questions. Ask the
that
questions.
the people of East Grand Bahama would like for me to ask.
Go ahead. I'm from East too.
Why would you reduce the allocation
Stay focused. Stay focused.
for social service assistance benefit and increase the budget for travel by $4 million?
You have time in the car. Say it again. Say it again. It'll make a noise.
They would like to know,
Yes, say it again. It'll make a noise.
why would you reduce social services assistance benefits and increase the budget
Travel.
by $4 million? The amount allocated for social service assistance.
My God. My mind.
Why would you increase the budget by $1 million to lease vehicles?
What?
We ain't talking about you spending $1 million to lease vehicles. We are talking about increasing the budget by $1 million to lease vehicles.
What?
Why not just hold the line? Why not just hold the line on what you spend to lease vehicles?
Shorten the budget.
Just hold the line. Pull up the Ministry of Finance budget for me. Why would you increase the budget for consultancy services by more than $10 million in the Ministry of Finance? Are these foreign consultants? Will there be bids for these consultancies? Why are the consultancies, and for those who would wish to look at the increase by $1 million, could just look at page 90 of the Ministry of Finance's budget.
It's right there.
It was allocated $5 million. It has now been raised to $6 million.
Wow. It's right there. It's done.
Why have consultancies increased by $3 million in tourism, by $1 million in education, and $3 million in health?
You want to know?
A grand total of $17 million more for consultancies. We just want to know why. On this matter of the finance officers, which was in the press recently, why would we say that these finance officers, lumping them all together, paid themselves, when we knew that the cabinet approved the difference in classifications, public service approved the reclassification, the Public Service Commission gave their recommendation to approve the classification. The audit report clearly states that the treasurer, in accordance with the cabinet conclusion, made the payment. It was unfair and it was wrong, which drew the condemnation of the same finance officers. They went outside the Ministry of Finance and they were upset. They felt as though they were being accused of some things that were completely unfair. Madam Speaker, why would you decrease the allocation for uniform allowance? Why decrease the allocations for small business under head 49, page 151?
Call it out.
Why would you decrease the allocation for small businesses from 4.5 million to 2 million?
What?
Why would we decrease that allocation?
$2.5 million?
Under head 12, page 206, why would you decrease the allocation for small businesses from 25 million to 8 million?
What?
Again, Why?
Small businesses.
The government made a pledge for $50 million a year in small business support. And this support is so very critical as small businesses seek to stabilize and grow as we slowly emerge from the pandemic. Yet, taken all together, I cannot find close to even half of what was promised when I added up all of the related allocations. Madam Speaker, they talk the game on small business support, but their actions speak louder than their words. Madam Speaker, I see the allocation for the $10 million for the Lucayan Renewal Holdings. And let me say at first instance, we are very hopeful on this project. Grand Bahama needs, regardless of what side you're on.
That's right.
Grand Bahama needs this.
Yes, sir.
Grand Bahama has been waiting on this,
Yes, sir.
and they need it. So we're hopeful. We're hopeful. But Grand Bahama has said
That's fine.
they don't get excited by announcements anymore. They won't see. They won't see what you could do. They won't see what you can do. So we've seen an allocation of $10 million for the Lucayan Renewal Holdings in the tourism budget. Does this mean that the government does not expect to turn the hotel over to the new owners until the next fiscal year? When the Family Island Infrastructure Fund is set up, and I believe we heard from the Prime Minister today who said that it would be the Minister of Finance and some other ministers who would be administering the fund. But the question that I have is, how will you manage the difference between an island like Abaco that has a very, compared to the other family islands, would have a very large revenue stream compared to a revenue stream like Inagua or Meguana? How will the fund be managed to ensure that there is equality for all of the islands? It has been 9 months. 8 months. It has been 8 months.
Oh, y'all awake. Glad y'all awake. Y'all paying attention.
Madam Speaker,
Paying attention. That's good. Y'all paying attention.
it has been 8 months.
That's good. Y'all awake. Pay attention.
When will the struggling home owners in Abaco and in Grand Bahama finally get their home repair payments from the DRA? It has been approved by the previous government. It has been 8 months, and there unfortunately has not been a payment to those persons who are still waiting, those persons who are still in need, those persons who are still waiting to be paid. When will those additional payments be made to them? The people have been waiting a long time. They need the payments. They've been waiting. After election, they've been waiting for 8 months. So you are the government now. You are the government now. Fix it. You are the government now. Fix the problem. You committed to the people that you had a better plan. You committed to them that you could fix the problem. Don't go backward. Go forward. Fix the problem. Fix it. Fix it. Madam Speaker, I sat for 4.5 years in the Senate. And the members opposite, very skillfully, every time we spoke about, well, you didn't do it. Well, you didn't do it. Well, the immediate response was, you the government, fix it.
Now you the government, fix it.
I want to thank them for that response. Because it was actually a very good response. So anytime they say, well, you were the government, why didn't you do it? Listen, we are not the government any longer. We are in opposition. We are doing our job by holding them to account. So by holding them account, we say to them, to every problem that they committed that they were going to solve, fix it. Madam Speaker, in this last 3 minutes, I wanted to just state about some constituency matters. We were very busy over the last 8 months. We have conducted a number of projects and activities in the East Grand Bahama constituency. We've had a wonderful Christmas party where we gave over 700, 800 toys to our children in the community. We had a Mother's Day event where we went out, gave Mother's Day's gifts. We gave out about over 500 Mother's Day gifts to churches and to communities. We walked the streets and gave out Mother's Day's gifts. We had a very creative Easter egg giveaway. And I want to thank those persons who were responsible for assisting. Rather than having an Easter egg hunt at one location, we packed up all of our Easter eggs, packed up all of our candies. We had a trailer that had the Easter egg bunny, that had a number of the characters, and we drove through the East Grand Bahama community and we gave out Easter eggs and brought cheer and joy to all of the persons in the areas. We've done a Pelican Point Community Park project where we have assisted in reconstructing benches at the Pelican Park Community Park. We've assisted a number of churches, a number of residents. We've also been able to establish a East Grand Bahama Tech Computer Center. And we are in the process now of connecting with BTBI, where we will be offering computer courses, adult computer courses, to persons in the community. We also assisted with a community derelict vehicle cleanup in the East Grand Bahama area as well. We had a speeding ski cleanup initiative that we are still in the process of doing. We also have been able to construct a dock, a small dock in Speeding Ski. The only way that people can get on and off of Speeding Ski is by using docks. And a number of those docks were damaged by hurricane. So we have been able to at least put in place one additional community dock. Madam Speaker, we've also continued to assist people with food vouchers, medical assistance. We've continued to be as available as possible to all of those persons who are in need in East Grand Bahama. Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity, but we must say that the PLP's budget, first budget, has fallen woefully short. And it has shown when budgets ought to be and ought to show evidence of fiscal responsibility, they have shown themselves to be fiscally irresponsible.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Chair recognizes the Honourable Member for Pinewood.
Madam Speaker, I did want to interrupt the member for East Grand Bahama. I let him, but I think there were 3 points that he raised. The first one had to do with whether I would have spoken to Mr. Jeffrey Simmons, who is the acting meteorological department director, With regards to the weather, there's a tropical depression off the Yucatan Peninsula that's traveling in a northeasterly direction. And if it continues on that course, it will affect the northeast Bahamas, in particular Bimini, the Berry Islands, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. There's chance of strengthening, and if that is the case, the Met Office would issue a tropical warning for those areas and any further notice that may be required. Secondly, with regards to NIB, I'll say stay tuned. I think this government has demonstrated since coming to office that we are concerned about those receiving national insurance benefits. Not only that we continue with the unemployment benefits of the previous government, but we gave also a Christmas bonus for those who were suffering. Not only that, Madam Speaker, in particularly, the members from Grand Bahama, all three of them should be aware that the National Insurance Board, through their portal, advertised some renovation construction works for Grand Bahama, and that those bids are being revised. They would also know that NIB buildings are in a very dilapidated state, and this government very shortly will take steps to bring relief to those NIB employees, in particular, who work in the head office. I visited that building at least 4 times since we're coming to office. With regards to the DRA, he's got a legitimate complaint that members, some of our people, residents of Grand Bahama, have not been compensated, in particular the businessmen who had provided renovations. Those sources are in hand. They will be paid shortly. Not only that, the DRA will commence this government's version of the small home repairs. Other than that, Madam Speaker, I say stay tuned. I speak tomorrow at 5.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Azmini. The chair recognizes the Honourable Member for North Andes and the Berry Islands.
Good evening to you, Madam Speaker, to my fellow colleagues and the entire Bahamas. Madam Speaker, the last 8 months as a Member of Parliament for the illustrious people of North Andes and the Berry Islands has been filled with sincere enthusiasm, motivation, and my sincere desire to see the lives change for the people that elected me to serve them for the next 5 years as their Member of Parliament and be their voice in this honorable place. I believe that this can only be achieved when our desires are pure and driven by sincerity and unselfishness. The late Miles Monroe says, leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by a conviction, ignited by a purpose. There you go. Madam Speaker, I know that this was not by chance that the opportunity was given to me, but that the Almighty saw it fit to grant His grace upon my life to lead in this capacity. Madam Speaker, I would like to say thank you to my family who has supported me from day one. My mother, Lenora Jean Gray Brennan, my grandmother, Pandora Veronica Miller, my siblings, in particular, Kenneth and D'Angelo Smith, my 3 sons, Kaden, Carter, and Kimea, for allowing Daddy time to complete his daily ministerial and constituency duties. For this, I'm humbly grateful. Gotta mention Grammys. It would also be remiss of me, Madam Speaker, if I neglected to say thank you to the Prime Minister, the Honorable Member for Cat Island, Rumkey and San Salvador, Philip Brave Davis, also the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Member for Ragged Island and Exuma, I. Chester Cooper. Thank you for this opportunity to serve in this capacity. Madam Speaker, it is my sincere belief that God never makes a mistake. Scripture tells us in the book of Daniel 2:21, and he changes the times and the seasons. He removeth kings. He set up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. Additionally, I desire to see the lives of my many people progress and transform for the better. This can only be achieved when we have leaders with a vision and a heart for the people. Psalms 28:18. Eloquently. Psalms 28. Psalms 28:18 eloquently states, where there is no vision, I say no more.
That's a heavy word.
Madam Speaker, I am a man who believes in building up others. In the constituency of Nabi, thus far my constituents have seen progressive leadership. My team and I have been steadily working both North Andros and the Berry Islands, implementing programs, social initiatives, and give-backs, listening to their concerns. As their member of parliament, I was there for them during significant times in their lives. We introduced the Nabi News, the first newsletter for the residents of North Andros and the Berry Islands. Residents will be kept abreast with all the relevant news happening in the constituency, upcoming events, local recipes, and featuring local businesses from both islands as a means of free advertisement to assist with increasing businesses. We include a health corner because of the number of health issues and concerns we face as a nation. Residents will be able to get information and seek professional assistance. The Nabi News is issued quarterly. So far, we already issued our second edition for the year. Madam Speaker, we have quarterly community meetings to address the residents and matters arising and hear the concerns of the residents. Also, I ensure that office hours are available for both islands who wish to have matters addressed with me privately. Madam Speaker, this member of parliament did not disappear from the people, but my presence is felt on both islands. Residents of the Berry Islands, I have been assured that the various government agencies will be present in your community, including social service, road traffic, a port personnel, and a port passport office. Nabi, this budget is for you. Madam Speaker, for the years the residents of North Andros have complained regarding the poor conditions of Red Bays Road. Since coming to office, I have partnered with Apex Management to bring this vexing problem to a bearable state where the residents can now commute with some level of comfort. Madam Speaker, the docks on both islands are coming into one office is in desperate need of repairs. Proudly to say that in this budget period, those repairs are expected to commence. Madam Speaker, the last two road pavements in the Berry Islands was done under a PLP government. We anticipate in the next budget, the same will be done. The Low Sound Primary School has begun construction again since it was ceased in 2017 under the former administration. We also look forward to the completion of this initiative. Madam Speaker, land ownership is very important. This can be used to obtain loans that banks and other institutions may require. A few residents in the constituency of Nabi, and for those who keep asking what is Nabi, this is a short term for North Andros and the Berry Islands. So when I use the term, Madam Speaker, when I use the term Nabi, I'm sure my constituents and everybody knows what I'm referring to. North Andros and the Berry Islands can now say, there you go, Nabi, and they can now say that landowners are more in the process of getting approved. Madam Speaker, this only happens under a progressive, compassionate, and responsible leadership. We get the job done. The Minister of Works, Honorable Alfred Sayers, Parliamentary Secretary, Honorable Barkus Roll, along with the senior management and technical team from the ministry, visited North Andros to address capital projects. Additionally, we hope to have BAMSI ready to receive students for the upcoming September for face-to-face learning. Madam Speaker, the various amendments to the BAMSI Act addresses the various upgrades and assist with modern technology and distribution centers that will be able to host inventory control on a database to ensure that we are operating a modern and successful business, which gives the comfort and the ease of doing business. These standards speak to the administration's commitment to institutions such as BAMSI and BAIC, that we are prepared to commence the journey of food sustainability in the Bahamas. Additionally, in this budget period, we have increased the budget for BAMSI. Developing ongoing programs will enhance research and partnership between BAMSI, the University of the Bahamas, and US-based agriculture schools to determine increased agriculture projection and appropriate crop mix. These programs could include labor requirements, appropriate training, shipping and storage requirements, and the potential from farm to table sales to restaurants in the Bahamas and local food requirements. Madam Speaker, the Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, and I have gained first-hand knowledge locally and internationally as we lead the way to reduce the number of import foods coming into the country and increase food sustainability in the Bahamas. This administration commitment to our local farmers, we will inject $300,000 to strengthen our poultry and livestock industry. Madam Speaker, as a member of Parliament for NABI, I made a personal commitment to ensure that I visit all schools and churches in the constituency in an effort to for the kids to be able to say their member of Parliament is not only visible, but cares about their well-being. Also to be able to address any concerns arising. Additionally, the residents of NABI are not residents, but they are now my family. As family members, we ensure that we take care of one another. My presence is seen and felt during their times of loss and happiness. We have our quarterly Zoom informative sessions where residents are given timely information on various topics such as mental health and the importance of getting vaccinated. These sessions will continue throughout the calendar year. In January, we partnered with Charlotte Knowles Thompson to host the first college fair for the students of North Andros and the Berry Islands. Students got the opportunity to listen to universities from the United States and Canada with various scholarships opportunities. Madam Speaker, this month we partnered with the Kiwanis Club of the Berry Islands to host a health fair and blood drive for the residents of Berry Islands. Also, we celebrated the Nurses of Andros this month under the theme, Secure Global Health, Invest in Nurses. The team had several activities planned for the residents of North Andros. Friday past, Andros We Care Foundation and I did a joint appreciation buffet style for the teachers and nurses in North Andros. The following Saturday morning, we held our walkathon and residents were able to come and get their blood pressure and glucose levels checked. We continue with the various give backs and initiatives throughout the calendar year for the community. Madam Speaker, on Monday, the 2nd May 2022, was a significant day in the history of North Andros. Silver Cruise Line visited Morgan's Bluff. This was the first time a cruise ship visited the island for more than 30 years. Residents came out in full support along with the vendors to showcase their products and ensure that the tourists had an amazing time and enjoyed their experience. Madam Speaker, this is what a new day government looks like, and make it happen. Yes. We are anticipating this as a regular experience for the residents to assist with the economic boost of the local economy. Madam Speaker, the family islands are unique and different in their ways. They have so much natural beauty that we can tap into and offer as an attraction to our tourists. For example, bird watching, fly fishing, ecotourism sector, forestry, hunting, and the list goes on and on. Madam Speaker, when we first came to office, we were faced with a task of successfully reopening our economy to make certain that it was done to a high standard approved by the Ministry of Health and Wellness for the protection of our people. Madam Speaker, not only that we successfully reopened our economy, but we got Bahamians back to work. On January 1st, 2022, we reduced VAT from 12% to 10% across the board. Madam Speaker, VAT is a broad-based tax, meaning to have a lower VAT rate, it must be applied to most items. We begin the process of exemptions. It causes the rate to be higher. Also, it is advised that in order to maintain a lower rate, there must be a few exemptions. In this case, it was applied on the bread basket items, but the savings of 2% is across the board on all items. Madam Speaker, this Davis-led administration ensures we have the best interests of the people at heart. We are collecting the revenue to have the necessary capital works completed. Our hospitals have the necessary medications. Our road must be repaired on a regular basis. We have provided the Social Service Department with the necessary safety net to ensure that the indigent or the individuals in need of help are assisted. With progressive leadership, we do not have to keep raising the taxes on the people. More emphasis simply must be placed on collecting the taxes that are already on our books and ensuring that those who are capable of paying do so. Madam Speaker, there has been much talk in the media regarding the Pinecrest Development Subdivision. The Minister, Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, has assured the Bahamian people that we will provide homes with the highest quality standards. Quality with proper drainage and construction work. With that said, Madam Speaker, I applaud her for being a progressive minister. In less than 8 months, she opened a new subdivision and Bahamians are now homeowners, while others are not able to say the same during their entire term in office. Madam Speaker, the first-time homeowners exemption was also increased from $250,000 to $300,000. Building materials and tariff in the Excise Act have also decreased, and in some cases, they are now duty-free. This is what I call progressive leadership, Madam Speaker. We appreciate constructive criticism where necessary. However, we will not entertain idle conversation of those whose purpose will only to be to serve as a distraction. This, indeed. We will not be distracted. We will not be distracted. Focus. This single but important investment Bahamians will make is the purchase of a home. We will ensure that this is done to the highest quality approved by the Ministry of Work Standards. Madam Speaker, the island of Grand Bahama and Abaco are prime examples that we have lots of work to get done. The people have suffered long enough. As a responsible government, we must ensure opportunities are provided for them to have gainful employment to take care of their responsibilities. Madam Speaker, the pending sale of the Grand Lucayan Hotel will boost the local economy and open the doors for more opportunities. This will factor into increased airlifts to the island, which equates to increased numbers of tourists, increased local construction jobs, increased local merchant sales, and more job opportunities for the locals. Madam Speaker, we must stay focused as a government and do the work of providing healthy opportunities for the Bahamian people. The Bahamas continues to rebound from the global pandemic. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister responsible for tourism, investment, and aviation, Honorable I. Chester Cooper, have been working hard to ensure that we have increased airlifts to our country. The tourist numbers have increased steadily. This caring government have worked and will continue to work in getting things done for the majority and not the chosen few. Yes. Madam Speaker, the Minister of Health and Wellness safely introduced free COVID-19 testing coming into office. This has helped to alleviate this expense of the backs of Bahamians. This New Day government, since coming into office, has heard the cries of the Bahamian people across the length and breadth of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We cannot do things the same way, Madam Speaker, if we are expecting to have different results. This government has decided in this budget to bring the necessary changes we need to develop family island infrastructures. The airports, docks, bridges, clinics, police stations, local government buildings, schools, sporting facilities, and other government buildings are in need of repairs. This caring government will ensure that necessary repairs are completed. North Andros and the Berry Islands, this budget is for you. 10% of the overall revenues collected in the Family Islands from the real property tax and road traffic will go back to the Family Island Development Trust Fund. Indeed, this is the Family Islands time.
There you go. That's a good one.
Since coming to office, I had the opportunity to listen to the cries from the custom officers in North Andros and the Berry Islands. Madam Speaker, we are aware that this department is one of our top revenues generating agencies. For years, they sat on the sidelines and watched as the other uniform branches got promotions after promotions while they were left behind. Some of which have not received promotion in 5, 10, and in some cases, 15 years, Madam Speaker. To all the custom staff of North Andros, Jaquia Ferguson, Trini Customs Revenue Officer, Craig Lundy, Grade 2, Frida Sawyer, Grade 1, Custom Officers in the Berry Islands, Anatel Logan Otley, Senior Custom Officer, Marvin Bain, Grade 2, Dwight Grant, Trainee Custom Officer, Shanice Johnson, Trainee Custom Officer, Vashanti Wallace, Trainee Custom Officer, and Jerome Bastian, Trainee Custom Officer. Madam Speaker, we are reviewing these concerns and I hope that these matters addressed it in the very near future. On the move. This progressive government is This progressive government is committed to bringing results to these outstanding matters. Let me take this time also to commend the Honorable Fred Mitchell, Honorable Pia Glover Roll, Minister of State, and Parliamentary Secretary, Honorable Jamal, and the entire team in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Public Service for a wonderful job ensuring that the public service workers get what they rightfully deserve. Numerous of pensionable and permanent letters has already been received and many more to be issued. Madam Speaker, I stand here today as a member of Parliament for Family Island constituency. I said before that it is time that we begin the process of developing our family islands because they are unique and have so much to offer. When we develop our islands, the residents will be more inclined to stay at home and find gainful employment. Madam Speaker, I would like to commend my fellow colleague and big brother, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Honorable Mario Bolek, for the immaculate job he has done this far in his 8-month tenure in office. Sports tourism has yielded many positive results for our country. The number of individuals that travel to compete along with supporters, relatives, and friends helps to fill our hotels, taxi, souvenir stores, and restaurants. Additionally, we must continue to create positive avenues and invest in areas such as sports to keep our most vulnerable youths engaged. Positive outlets such as the Freedom Farm Baseball League, which is founded by Mr. Greg Burrows, have created many opportunities for young men from the Bahamas and opened doors to successful careers in the major and minor leagues all around the United States of America. The list goes on and on. The Youth and Sports Summer Camp, Jeff Rogers Summer Camp, Kevin Johnson Summer Camp, inner city tournaments, notable Peace on the Street basketball are all targeted to support our young men and women positively. We are proud of them today, but we must continue to open the doors for the next Jazz Chisholm, Ian Lewis, and Todd Isaacs. All these behemoths came from through Freedom Farm Baseball League and are now playing either major or minor league baseball. And there is Buddy Hill, DeAndre Aiden, and Kai Jones playing professional basketball. Madam Speaker, the first gold medal for the Bahamas during this year's Carifta Games was achieved by Keyshawn Strawn in the under-20 men's javelin, a fellow Androsian. Yes. Indeed. Did happy family. Yes. Sports opened the doors for many, including our very own Stephen Gardner and Sean A. Miller-Yubo. They can not only achieve a college education, but successful careers. Madam Speaker, it only makes good sense to invest in sports. Yes. Most of our children have a talent, natural talent, they only need an opportunity. By creating positive opportunities we keep them away from the negative distractions, gangs, and criminal activities. Madam Speaker, it is no secret that inflation is a reality. To help offset the cost of living, this government has reinstated the yearly increments of our public service officers. Also, we have decreased many of the food items in the Tariff and Excise Act. All talks about the increase in minimum wage will soon become a reality. I would also like to encourage our Bahamians to get involved in their own backyard farming, to assist with the producing fruits and vegetables, which will translate into decreased grocery bills at the food store. Nabi, we have landed Team L and L for the big yard. Andros, we are in this together, from Morgan's Bluff in the north to Mars Bay in the south. My fellow colleague and brother, Honorable Member of South Central and Mangrove Key, Leon Lundy, we will ensure that Andros will not be forgotten this time around. So Andros, this budget is for you. Madam Speaker, this is a budget that will look out for Bahamian people. The Bahamian people have heard enough talking. It's time for action. North Andros and the Berry Islands supports this budget. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As many? 3 revs. One giving out manna, next one giving out biblical voice. Now let's see what Rev giving.
This budget is the people's budget. Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the good people of the great constituency of Southern Shores. People who are trusting and depending upon me to represent them well in this honorable house. Madam Speaker, I must first of all give thanks to Almighty God for all the praise, all the glory for this day and making this day a possibility in my life. For I must be mindful that without him, I can do anything. Madam Speaker, before I make my contribution to the budget debate 2022-2023, I extend my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to the residents of Southern Shores. I must thank them from the bottom of my heart for their support, and I pledge to do my best at all times to keep their support. Madam Speaker, in the constituency of Southern Shores, we have a flooding problem, like most communities in New Providence. The good news, Madam Speaker, is that inspectors from the Ministry of Works have already assessed the flooding problems, and actions are now being made to increase our drainage system. Also, Madam Speaker, we have a number of serious potholes in various communities like Darkview, Halls Close, Robertson Close, Sunset Drive, Doris Johnson South, Caribbean Close, and Carolina Estate. I want to ensure these residents that this inconvenience is now being addressed. Madam Speaker, June 19th is Father's Day, and I wish to extend a pre-Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in Southern Shores and throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. There may be a time in our life that we feel unappreciated, we feel disrespected, and no spotlight is ever shown on us, but that's okay. Being a father is a gift, and doing the work of a father is a blessing. So, Madam Speaker, we are gifted and we are already blessed. Happy Father's Day to all of you. Madam Speaker, I didn't get the opportunity in this honorable house to thank young Akari Burnside, the youth member of parliament for Southern Shores. He is a young man that loves his country. He's a young man that is knowledgeable about the history of his country. And most of all, Madam Speaker, he is very passionate about the progress of his country. Madam Speaker, our country will be in good hands if more young leaders like Akari will emerge. And I want to personally thank him for he represented Southern Shores well. Madam Speaker, the month of June is designated as Community Cleanup Month in Southern Shores. We will put bins throughout the community, and residents are asked to dispose of all unwanted debris. For the month of July, we will be having a house decorating competition. We would like to see how patriotic our constituents are. And the first place prize will be $600, the second place prize will be $400, and the third place prize will be $200. We want to see Southern Shores decorated in Bahamian colors. Saturday, July 16th, Madam Speaker, Southern Shores will be hosting a family fun day at the Munnings Estate on Marshall Road from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Only Southern Shoreans are invited.
That's the day before my birthday.
And then come celebrate.
Okay.
Saturday, August 13th, we will be hosting our second annual major games on Millis Heights Park, where polling divisions will compete against each other for the floating trophy. And we ask that all Southern Shoreans come out, because at this time, we will be giving our back-to-school giveaways. We'll be having our back-to-school giveaways. For the month of July and August, we will be hosting our Southern Shores Summer Workshop, where we will teach our young people, our young children, how to make jewelry, candles, soap, lotion. They will also be taught how to make jams, jellies, and different types of sauces, and different types of handicrafts items. At the end of the workshop, we will have an expo on August 27, where our students or our young folks, our young people, will come and sell their products. I also wish to extend condolences to a few persons in Southern Shores. I think of the Hannes family on McKinney Drive, on the passing of Pastor Katie and Hannah. I also think about the Williams family on Penford Close, on the passing of Tomiko Williams. And also, I want to bring condolences to Boyda Lee Forbes on the passing of her son, Ian Kerr. My prayer is that Almighty God will continue to be a source of strength. And as you go through this difficult time, we pray that the souls of the dearly beloved rest in peace and raise in glory. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this honorable House. Oh, sorry, Madam Speaker, before I forget, I do wish to say happy anniversary to my wife.
Not today.
Yeah, today.
Today?
Today is June 1st. Made us 32 years of marital bliss. Again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Madam Caroline, for sticking with me, and loving me and taking care of me. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this honorable House and the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas about the many plans and initiatives that are being undertaken by the dedicated staff of the Bahamas Agriculture and Industrial Corporation. I am also very grateful, Madam Speaker, to the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, leader of the Progressive Liberal Party and Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, for affording me this opportunity to serve as Executive Chairman of BAIC. The Board of Directors of BAIC are very busy, working on quite a number of plans and initiatives to improve the services of BAIC for the Bahamian people. Madam Speaker, some 42 years ago, The vision of an entity to stimulate and to encourage the creation, expansion, and promotion of behemoth enterprises came into fruition.
Yes.
Since entering the doors of BAIC in November of last year, I have been working along with a dedicated team of hard-working professionals who are continuing to carry out the mandate of BAIC. This mission was started some 14 years after majority rule and 8 years after the Bahamas became an independent nation. The mission of BAIC continues as the corporation is playing a vital role in assisting Bahamians to become owners and operators of small and medium-sized business enterprises. Madam Speaker, I am delighted to report that since being appointed executive chairman of BAIC, the corporation has already embarked upon a number of projects, including the reopening of the parking house in Hatchet Bay in Luthra in February of last year. BAIC is on the way to establish plans are on the way to establish fish and farm stores and community kitchens, as the minister already alluded to, on every family island where there is a parking house. This will give farmers added values to their produce, and it will create an avenue for job creation and entrepreneurship for individuals who want to pursue agri-processing. Renovation will begin in a matter of months to the oil produce exchange on Porterski Dock to a state-of-the-art exchange. BAIC is currently working on a banana planting project. Every year, Madam Speaker, we import between $9 to $15 million worth of bananas into this country. We are determined, Madam Speaker, to spend that money here. 80 farmers with 5 acres each will accomplish this goal. Good project. We already sourced the right species of bananas. If Jamaica could do it, Madam Speaker, we can do it. Yes. If Grenada could do it, we can do it. If Dominican Republic could do it, we can do it. And if St. Lucia could do it, we can do it. Yes. All of these countries do not import bananas. They export bananas. Wow. Madam Speaker, we have a list of some 42 farmers in New Providence alone who are prepared and willing to do it. Madam Speaker, among the many projects in progress at BAIC, BAIC is collaborating with the Bahamas Development Bank in a quest to help reduce the importation of eggs and poultry in the Bahamas, as the minister already alluded to. Madam Speaker, we believe that poultry is one of the sectors where opportunities can be created for Bahamians and farmers and persons interested in getting involved in egg and poultry production. BAIC and the Bahamas Development Bank are in the process of putting together a strategic plan to facilitate this project by identifying suitable land. BAIC have it. Providing funding, BAIC sourced it, and technical assistance, BAIC have it. To interested farmers to make this vision of egg and poultry industry in the Bahamas a fruitful one. Yes. Madam Speaker, this is how it's going to work. The bank will finance the chicken houses, finance the chickens, finance the feed. BAIC will provide the land, provide the training, and provide the technical support. Madam Speaker, we call this a turnkey operation. If the Minister of Housing could do it, BAIC could do it.
The gang from the Senate. That gang from the Senate here.
BAIC.
That gang from the Senate.
BAIC is a place of opportunities. It is truly a place of economic empowerment. BAIC have plans for Exuma. We have plans for Cat Island. BAIC have plans for North and South Andros, and we have plans for Long Island. Madam Speaker, the corporation, we have plans for Grand Bahama too. As a matter of fact, in a few weeks, we're going to be in Grand Bahama. We're opening a new office down in 8 Mile Rock, as a matter of fact. Yeah, we're going to spread our wings. This Davis-led administration is doing a great job, and we will continue to do a great job for the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, the corporation is also conducting workshops and seminars in handicrafts, food processing, and business planning to help broaden the country's economic basis. Over the first quarter of this year, Madam Speaker, the Handicraft and Special Events Department of the corporation has executed an aggressive training schedule for artisans as the corporation continue to play an integral role in promoting and developing the orange economy of our country. Yes. Over 90 Bahamians thus far for the last 4 months have been trained in conch shell carving, straw craft, soap making, and candle making. Madam Speaker, through these many crafts workshops, BAIC is focusing on job creation and believing that workshops can create greater opportunities for those involved in handicraft industry to help diversify the economy and in an effort to reduce the more than $300,000 of souvenirs and gift items imported into our country annually. Madam Speaker, the Bahamians are producing a wide array of world-class crafts items and food products. In April of this year, over 30 Bahamian processors from Andros, Cat Island, Eleuthera, Exuma, New Providence participated in a very successful Taste and Tell event hosted by BAIC to expose food processors to food stores owners and operators, wholesalers, hoteliers, restaurants, and chefs. The food processors displayed Bahamian-made peanut butter, Madam Speaker. Never saw it in my life. Never tasted it, but Madam Speaker. But when I taste the Bahamian-made peanut butter, as a matter of fact, my wife put a Jiffy, and this Mommy's peanut butter. And she asked me which one I like. I didn't even know which one. I said, I like this one. And that one was the Bahamian one. The peanut butter named Nettie's. Remember that? Nettie's. Nettie's. We are determined, Madam Speaker, to ensure that our products and our produce is on the shelves in our stores in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, the reviews are still coming in from hundreds of Bahamians who attended the event, and they're still asking, when will the next Taste and Tell be held? Madam Speaker, we will be working closely with our ambassadors and high commissioners and consul generals posted around the world to ensure that Bahamian products are promoted wherever the Bahamas is represented. Following a briefing with the newly appointed High Commissioner to Canada, His Excellency V. Alfred Gray, and Bahamas Consul in the United States and the United Kingdom, BAIC was given the assurance that they will do all they can to promote Bahamian products made by Bahamians. Madam Speaker, during the month of July, next month, as part of our country's celebrating its 49th independence, BAIC, in partnership with Super Value Food Stores and AML Foods Limited, will host Buy Bahamian Month to feature Bahamian farmers and manufacturers. Buy Bahamian Month will be held under the theme, Buy Fresh, Buy Local, Buy Bahamian. Yes. Each Saturday beginning July 9th, Bahamian farmers and manufacturers will be stationed outside food stores to display and sell their products. There will be a mega market day in the parking lot of Super Value, Winton, on July 9th. And the event will close with a mega market day at Solomon's Fresh Market, Old Fort Bay, on Saturday, July 30th. There will also be town hall meetings. One will be held in Southern Shores constituency on July 7th. The other will be at the University of the Bahamas on July 21st for farmers and manufacturers. And Madam Speaker, on July 26th, BAIC will host a business seminar for artisans and food processors on investing in your future. Super Value Food Stores and AML Food Limited will also provide designated space inside the stores to display Bahamian products. On July 16th, there will be a pop-up farmers market on Elizabeth Estate Park, and on July 23rd, a pop-up farmers market will be held on Mothers Butler's Park, being in Grandstand, opposite the Salvation Army. We want to encourage Bahamians to buy fresh, buy local, buy Bahamian. Madam Speaker, for the first time in the history of BAIC, we have created a department that is designated to industry development. We will capitalize and bring wholeness to our dedicated coconut vendors. We will not lock them up, Madam Speaker, but we will help them.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, we are going to help them and we are going to assist them. And we are going to steer them to become professional businessmen and women. Madam Speaker, there's so much you could get out of the coconut produce. Madam Speaker, it is with great sense of pride and humility that I stand in this honorable house to make my contribution to the 2022-2023 budget debate. Madam Speaker, I must commend our leader, our visionary, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, Member of Parliament for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador, for this budget. This budget, Madam Speaker, is a true budget. Yes. It is a real budget. Yes. As a matter of fact, it is a landmark budget, Madam Speaker. It is a budget that brings immediate relief to the Bahamian people. But first, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Prime Minister for representing the Bahamas at COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. First time, world-class speech, Madam Speaker, and he knocked the ball out of the park. I want to thank the Prime Minister for being the voice of climate change for the Caribbean. Yes. The big threat to food sovereignty is global warming. The world listened to you, Prime Minister. The world heard you, my Prime Minister, and now the world is acting because of you. You have made us proud. You have made the Bahamas proud. As a matter of fact, you have made the Caribbean proud. Madam Speaker, I am a bearer of good news. And I come to echo some good news to the farmers around the country, to encourage them to prepare themselves for the work ahead, to make themselves even greater, to make even a greater contribution to help feed the people of the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, I am delighted to be a part of a team that the government has put in charge of food security and food sustainability, in keeping with its blueprint for change, so that we can feed ourselves and withstand the external shock in the international market, and to ensure that good, healthy, affordable food choices are available for our people. Madam Speaker, we realize that there is an inflation wave taking place all around us. The cost of food, the cost of supplies, the cost of energy are increasing daily, and our people are feeling the effect of it. While we remain yet focused on food security, food sovereignty, the Davis-led administration realized that the global inflation is affecting the lives of the Bahamian people. Therefore, Madam Speaker, this caring government has reduced duty rates on some food items in short terms to bring relief and comfort to the Bahamian people. Farmers have no need to worry. Farmers have no need to fear.
There we go.
This reduction in duty is not hurting the farmers. It is not bringing hardship to the farmers.
That's right.
This is to help the farmers.
Yes.
For while the farmers are working towards food security, they must also live.
Yes.
They too need relief.
Yes.
They too feel the effect of global inflation. And Madam Speaker, this government is a caring government. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister has chosen an energetic young man to lead this team. He is the Honorable Clay Sweeting, Member of Parliament for South and Central Eleuthera, and Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs. Madam Speaker, he is doing a remarkable job. Madam Speaker, agriculture is on the move.
Yes, sir.
A team from BAIC has already visited North and South Andros, South and Central and North Eleuthera, Abaco and Abaco. We have visited Long Island to bring awareness to the government's vision towards the goal of food security. Town hall meetings were held on these islands to discuss plans which BAIC and the Ministry of Agriculture has for farmers and to hear their concerns. Many farmers identify 3 problems and that are hampering them from producing more crops: funding, insurance, and access to more land. Well, Madam Speaker, we have the answer for their problem. Funding. This budget is for farmers. More money have been allocated to farmers in this budget than any other budget previously. More incentives have been given to farmers than any other budget. Land, BAIC got it all. We got 20,000 acres of agricultural land in Abaco. 20,000 acres, plenty land, sir. Plenty land. BAIC have over 200,000 acres in Eleuthera. We got plenty land. And if you want to get in the industry, BAIC have 23 acres in our industrial park in North Andros. North Andros opportunities are coming to you. Yeah, Navi. In the next few weeks, the minister and myself, along with our team, will be traveling to Eleuthera and to Abaco to give land leases to give land leases to farmers that are eagerly awaiting. Madam Speaker, the farmers understood clearly that the alarm for food security and food sustainability is ringing around the world, and that partnership will be the key to providing the pathway towards the realization of food security and food sustainability. Madam Speaker, like many other nations, the Bahamas today is challenged to deal with the intensifying reality, how to supply Bahamians with food that at affordable prices, while ensuring that the farmers earn a minimum level of profitability. The rising cost of energy is having a multiplier effect on the cost of products like fertilizer and service throughout the agri-food chain. Madam Speaker, BAIC is committed to work with farmers throughout the Bahamas and to make an impact where it matters most, achieving food security and food sustainability for the Bahamian people. Madam Speaker, I support the sentiment expressed by our beloved Prime Minister that the more we are able to feed ourselves, the better we will be able to weather the storms that may come our way. Madam Speaker, the good news is that the Prime Minister has announced is that the government has increased funding related to food security and will provide farmers with direct support because growing a greater share of our own food will dampen the impact of inflation and provide economic benefits and opportunities. Madam Speaker, the revelation by our Prime Minister that food security allocation has been increased by $1.5 million to aid provision of greenhouses and other smart technology for food production on the Family Islands, as well as provide training for farmers in the use of modern technology is welcome news for the farmers. Madam Speaker, farmers will be further supported by the allocation of some $500,000 to secure broilers and $600,000 for livestock to increase the supply of fresh meat in the market is also welcome news to the farmers and consumers of the Bahamas. Madam Speaker, BAIC is pleased, and I am certain that the animal farmers in New Providence and the Family Islands are relieved to hear that some $300,000 have been allocated to restore the animal feed mill on Gladstone Road and to ensure that farmers have ample domestic supplies of feed for their livestock. Madam Speaker, that is long overdue. The feed bill has been in a dire state of repairs for a mighty long time. But I am so glad that this government, the Davis-led administration, saw it fit to bring this thing to pass. And I am sure, Madam Speaker, that our farmers are excited. Madam Speaker, I firmly believe that the farmers we have been in discussion with over the past several months are still celebrating today in anticipation of the assistance from the government after hearing the Prime Minister announce that the government will provide grant fundings to support them in the use of modern technology and resources. The government is calling on all farmers and depending on them to help feed the nation, bring down the cost of living, and help reduce the country's food import bill. Since July 2014, Madam Speaker, BAIC has been given the responsibility to manage 4 commercial entities, including the Producer Exchange, the Fish and Farm Store, the Animal Feed Mill, and the packing houses in North Andros, Lower Bogue, North Eleuthera, Hatchet Bay, Central Eleuthera, and Greencastle, South Eleuthera, Smiths Bay, Cat Island, and Clarencetown, Long Island. Madam Speaker, we are investing, Madam Speaker, in our parking houses. We're not going to sell them. We're not going to privatize them. We're going to work them.
Yes, that's right.
Madam Speaker, BAIC also have the responsibility of managing one of the largest portfolio of land in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, with acreage for lease on Eleuthera, Abaco, Andros, and the New Providence Industrial Park, Soldier, and Gladstone Road. Madam Speaker, the Producer Exchange, which was situated on Porterski Dock for many years, moved its operation to the Soldier Road Industrial Park in February 2020. Farmers from throughout the Bahamas have benefited tremendously and continue to benefit from the assistance of BAIC with the distribution of their fresh fruits and vegetables throughout our parking house system. Madam Speaker, as of April, we have paid almost $500,000 to farmers who utilize our parking house system. Madam Speaker, this way forward is bright for the farmers. The way forward, Madam Speaker, is progressive for the farmers. The way forward, Madam Speaker, is profitable for the farmers. Madam Speaker, I personally want to thank the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, for placing confidence in the Bahamian farmers to execute his vision of food security and food sustainability. Farmers are excited everywhere. Farmers are ready to work, and farmers will execute. Madam Speaker, the way forward, Madam Speaker, this budget, Madam Speaker, is a good budget. This budget is the people's budget. And Madam Speaker, this budget is the farmers' budget. God bless you, Madam Speaker, and God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Support this budget.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Chair recognizes the Honorable Member for West Grand Bahama.
Madam Speaker, we have been able to run a tight schedule today, and we have now completed our list of speakers for the day. We will resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when the member for Fox Hill will have the floor. I now move for the suspension, ma'am.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Senate?
Second.
Thank you, Honorable Member. It has been moved. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable. It has been moved and seconded that the business of this House be suspended until tomorrow at 10 a.m. As many are in favor, will remain seated. Those opposed will stand. The motion is carried. The business of this House stands suspended until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.